Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
I feel like only in America can you need medical assistance that you can't afford to get. And in order to get government help, you have to make under a certain amount. So if you're someone who's makes $60,000 a year, you don't qualify for any fucking help, but you can't actually afford to get your child the services that they fucking need. But if I quit my job and I go work for McDonald's, I can live off the government and then she can have the help that she needs. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
You know, it's no secret that I care deeply about people like this woman. You make $60,000 a year, you can't afford health care. Health care is rationed to you by organizations that are paying out and collecting billions of dollars in profits. And they say, we're going to push it towards this so we can push you to a place where you have socialized medicine, and then we can push up to what's happening in places like Canada, and they have socialized medicine where the first thing they do when they come to you and say, you have a broken arm, we think you should kill yourself. You have depression, you should die. There's no better example of how the World Economic Forum and this idea that they could kill off 90% of the population is actually something that is happening, and it all is centered on these faithless, godless people that are a part of a fraternity. And no, they're not all of them are Jewish. And I'm not even talking about Jewish or Jews. I'm talking about Jewish. I'm talking about people that are literally devil worshipers. Now, does that mean they're devil worshipers and they're Jewish? No. But there's a large conglomerate of people that hide behind other people. And it's led us to this place where you're not allowed to have conversations about it. If you're not allowed to talk about it, then the truth is somewhere around it. All you got to do is smell it, you'll find it. But so many Americans are tired. You don't qualify for this, you don't qualify for that. 56 cents on every dollar. So that person, that woman that was just talking about makes 60 grand a year. She's like, I make 60 grand. But after you take the taxes away, she makes $27,000 a year. Take away health care, take away child care, take away all the other things she has. She's living well underneath the poverty index. Why? Because they don't account for all the things that they take from you, the 23 cents on every dollar that you pay in the state of Colorado specifically for property taxes, which you shouldn't have property taxes on your house. We should have a consumption-based tax across the entire country that says, listen, if you spend more, you should have to pay more in taxes. And you know, I think the tax system at 56 cents on the dollar is absurd anyway, as we're finding that a vast majority of the amount of money that goes out is fraud and grift that goes back to candidates so they can push this radical ideology right back on us. The pressure on the American people is overwhelming. The judiciary is rotted to the core. And now we're hearing about the do-nothing people in the FBI and everywhere else we go. And it doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter if you stand up. The more you stand up, the more you become the guy that they come after. So much more that I want to tell you about this. Congress has done nothing for the American people. Judges have done nothing for the American people. The legislatures in Colorado, California, Washington, Oregon, they sit around with these seething pieces of trash that take meat off the bone. They run nonprofits that get all the money from the tax dollars brought into them so they can go out there and they can proselytize to people about how great it is to be furries. And this was Trump speaking yesterday afternoon, and he had this to say about Medicaid and daycare and the military. Go ahead and play it.
Don't send any money for daycare because the United States can't take care of daycare. That has to be up to a state. We can't take care of daycare. We're a big country. We have 50 states. We have all these other people. We're fighting wars. We can't take care of daycare. You got to let a state take care of daycare, and they should pay for it, too. They should pay. They have to raise their taxes, but they should pay for it. And we could lower our taxes a little bit to them, to make up for, but it's not possible for us to take care of daycare. Medicaid, Medicare, all these individual things, they can do it on a state basis. You can't do it on a federal. We have to take care of one thing, military protection. We have to guard the country. But all these little things, all these little scams that have taken place, you have to let states take care of them, Russell, and you have to do it.
Daycare, let the states take care of it. I'm sorry. This is the problem that I have with people that are in positions of power. They don't understand the plight of the person that makes $25 an hour, 60 grand a year, 80 grand a year. Let the states take care of it. When you don't have a system where you can actually elect people inside of the system, when you have a system that's so rife with corruption that the people you end up with are just a bunch of people that do the biddings of special interests and lobbyist groups, you end up with the idea that, yeah, the states can take care of it. Raise your taxes. Raise your taxes. Raise your taxes to what? For what? Raise your taxes for what? Spoken as if there is any part of this that makes sense when you're talking about 56 cents on the dollar and the amount of money that goes to others that is stolen from the American people. We're slaves. This is a slave state. But we got to fight our wars. We got to have military protection. Military protection does not mean destroying the sovereignty of other nations. I put up this post. Go put it up. We're going to get to our guest too here. I'm sure he has lots to say about this. These pieces of effluvium do not care about the average American family, cannot afford to eat, can't afford to drive, can't afford to pay the massive tax bills they are fed while fraud and grift by the supposed leaders stacks up. We have an illegitimate government with illegitimate judges. The FBI frames a disabled man for the pipe bombs when knowing the CIA radical leftists did it all along. And now, Dan, I'm the best American in the world, Bongino says people fail polygraphs every day while calling Massey a fraud. These people are evil, soulless fools. You don't have to like me or agree with me at all. I don't care. But you're a coward. You're a coward if you can't stand up to an FBI that would frame a disabled man and then try to justify what Dan Bongino says. The guy that says, I'm going to be around, I'm going to outlast you. You're shit, Dan. You're shit. Oh, I can't say that because they'll block me on the good old Rumble a little bit more. It doesn't get any better, does it? I put up this as well as I ripped into the fraudulent elections. The leadership in our country is one big crime family with ripped up fraudulent elections. The judges are enforcers, and we now are entering the phase where we take it all back as we are tired of being slaves. Now let's talk about this. How many cases go under appeal? How many cases don't go under appeal? I've been fighting for Tina Peters for years. I've been fighting next to her, and I'm not the only one. There are so many good people. John Casey, her attorney, Peter Tickton, David Perry, so many good attorneys that have had her back, and so many good people. Linda Opines, who went out and, just so you guys know, and I didn't realize this is the case. I just found this out. Linda went and got her paralegal license so that she could become a paralegal, so that she could represent Tina Peters. And I've gotten sideways with Linda, got pissed off at her at times. But she wakes up every day. She eats, breathes, and thinks nothing other than Tina Peters. Say what you want. This woman went out and got her certification to become a paralegal just so that she could be there for Tina Peters. Hats off to Linda Opines. Hats off. I don't want to care what anybody says about her. And I got mad at her a few times. And it still comes down to this. She went and did what most people wouldn't do. So I want you to see this. They have reversed, the Court of Appeals of Colorado has reversed the Tina Peters sentence. But the division reverses her sentence because it was based in part in improper consideration of her exercise of her right to free speech. The division remands the case to the trial court for resentencing. Now, I want to remind you that there was 2 other cases of radical leftists that were accused of the same crime, and they both got probation, no jail, and some community service. So what does resentencing look like for Tina Peters with the same charges? Are they going to put her back in jail and say 2 years and show you just how radically broken our system is and how shit and corrupt these judges are and how shit and corrupt Dan Rubenstein is and all the other people that are tied to this synagogue of Satan? And I'll say it again, synagogue of Satan, evil people that do evil things to the American people who stand up and dare give the American people some truth. Here's some truth. We got into it. Here's where it is. We'll go ahead and post this up so you can see the actual summary on this. And then we win and we get a loss at the same time with this. And we talk about this, but we have Rubenstein's email. We should put this up. This is Rubenstein's response, by the way, to the Court of Appeals ruling against them. Make it bigger, please, if you can. Members of the media, please see District Attorney Dan Rubenstein's statement below on today's Court of Appeals ruling. The decision underscores the strength and integrity of the judicial process. Bullshit. In a detailed 74-page opinion, the Court of Appeals carefully reviewed 9 separate claims of error spanning the grand jury process through trial, along with a single claim related to sentencing, and found no error in the proceedings leading to the convictions. The court concluded that the trial was fair, the defendant's rights were fully protected, and the evidence was sufficient to support the jury's verdict, which were affirmed in full. The ruling on sentencing is more limited. The appeals court did not find that the sentence was excessive or inappropriate, but instead identified a narrow issue requiring reconsideration. Unless Ms. Peters accepts that ruling and concedes the absence of any error in her conviction, the case will likely proceed to the Colorado Supreme Court, and the trial court will remain without jurisdiction during the process. Both parties have already had a full and fair opportunity to present their petitions or sentencing, and once jurisdiction returns, I anticipate the trial court will issue a new sentencing order, potentially affirming the prior sentence length, with findings consistent with the appellate court's guidance. Dan Rubenstein, you're a stupid little piece of shit, a little midget that deserves nothing, a traitor to the people. That's what you are. You're a zero. And I pray that you rot in hell. That's what I pray. That's what I pray. On top of this, we got something else that came through today. Pam Bondi was removed. President Trump had this to say. Pam Bondi is a great American patriot and loyal friend who faithfully served as my Attorney General over the past year. Pam did a tremendous job overseeing a massive crackdown on crime across the country, with murders plummeting to the lowest since the 1900s. We love Pam, and she will transition to a much-needed and important new job on the private sector to be announced at a date in the near future. And our Deputy Attorney General, and a very talented and respected legal mind, Todd Blanche, will step in to serve as Acting Attorney General. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Are we conceding? Are we conceding? Are we being played? I'm going to bring in Dale Comstock. He's a Green Beret, elite security expert. He's a badass. The guy's a freaking animal. Awesome guy. And he knows all too well about being left behind. He knows all too well about being betrayed by the very people that he sat and served for decades. Dale, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Joe.
What do you make of all this? You can see that I'm pissed.
Yeah. No, I hear you. You're right. So I kind of went through. I had an incident, and I finally resolved it. And it took one guy to do his job, and actually, apparently, he didn't get the memo that I was the bad guy. So he actually helped me out. And but I'm going through something else right now I can't talk about. But I hope in a few months I'll be able to bring this up, because I think this will impact again the American public. They need to know what's going on, and it's just one more bullshit play, political, and I'm kind of the pawn in the middle of this thing. But I gotta be honest, man. Pam Bondi, I kept asking myself, what has she done? How come people are getting arrested? Right? That just made no sense either. And I thought, well, maybe they're holding back, and then, in pre-midterm election, they're just going to open the gates and just start dumping all this intel out there. And arresting people, but it doesn't look like it because I don't know anybody that's been arrested for any of their crap, and even the Epstein files, not that I even care about the Epstein files that much, but, you know, um, and I think the Epstein, if there was something in the Epstein files, I think the Democrats would have already used it, but they won't because they're also, they're also in this file as well. A lot of people are going to get burned over that. So maybe it's a mutual, agreement. Hey, we won't talk about. We'll just feed the American people a bunch of junk. And but I was just taking some notes while you were talking, just to kind of remember some points. So the other thing about the taxes, that one really irritates the hell out of me. You're right. We pay a lot of taxes. We pay taxes for the money that we get. We pay taxes for the goods that we buy, and then we pay taxes on the things that we own. It just never stops, and they keep wanting more and more and more. And then they call for fair taxes, and everybody needs to be paid, a fair share. But how is everybody paying a different amount actually fair? It's not fair. If we're going to play that game, everybody pays the same amount of taxes. And but we just what pushed me over the edge was last year with Doge, when the one that really pissed me off was when I found out they spent, I think it was $50 million it's into Africa to circumcise African men. That's our tax money, by the way. We're cutting off penises, heads for Africans. That's my tax money. I would have liked that, keep that money for my own children and for our own growth. And when you squander, and I know how this works. Not all that money went to circumcision. Of course, that got laundered through people's pockets and then went to other projects, and people made bank on it. And with the lies, the scamming, I've had enough as well. My question to you and everybody out there is, okay, I think most of us had enough. What are we going to do about it? Voting doesn't work. It's not going to work. So what do we do about it as a nation? How do we get this country back? How do we snatch the power away from all these weak men in politics? And they're all weak for the most part. I know a few, and they're good men, but overall, politicians tend to be weak men that have never done anything in their life. I call it males, not even men, and for sure they're not leaders. At best, they're executive managers. But what are we going to do to rein these people in and take our country back? And that's a redundant question, but that's for everybody out there listening. What are we going to do? And I got one more other thing to say about cowardice, because you mentioned that earlier. You know who some of those cowardly people are? Conservatives, the silent majority, the ones that go, just vote them out. I'm not going to make no noise. You know what? How's that working for you? Because, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And, when the liberals go screaming and hollering about all kinds of crap, they get served. They get all the stuff they want. And we just shut our mouths and just get taken to the cleaners. And I hate it because, in a lot of ways, people are afraid to stand up and stand for themselves and stand for our country because they are cowards. They're weak. They're weak. They've been indoctrinated over the years. That the whole toxic masculinity thing, and we've been taught to we got to be more sensitive, and all the lies we've been fed has literally shaped our culture now to a point where what was once a strong nation of strong men is turned into a bunch of pansies. And I don't know how we're going to get this back. And there's so many other issues that are compounding the problem. Now we have AI, folks. Everybody's so focused on illegal, immigration, criminals coming across our border. And I get it. I am too, because of basically what happened to my wife. So I'm really mad about that. But while everybody's focusing on that, nobody's focusing on what's AI doing and how many people are getting ready to lose their jobs in the next 4 years, and what kind of shape are we going to be in then? We should be giving that just as much attention. Like, okay, if we don't rein that in, 80% of the population will be without a job. And if you think that universal income is a cool thing, it's not. I can talk at length on that one. So we have really misplaced our priorities. We're focusing in the wrong directions. But the worst part is we're allowing ourselves to be bullied by not only, the left, the Marxist socialists, because let's just call them what they are, and then our own government, although they said they're here to help us, nobody's helping and nobody's coming and nobody's going to help you. I'm a great example of that. Nobody helped me, with a few exceptions. I don't want to, for their, not call them out publicly. They're good people. So, but few people actually went to a long way to help me and still hit brick walls. And even though they had some power, they couldn't overcome this issue. But most people that called on senators and congressmen didn't even return my phone call. So as a patriot, my father was in the Army for 20 years. I was in the Army for 20 years. My son's been in 16 now as a Green Beret. My sister, my whole family is a military culture. And I really feel that my whole family, including myself, have been betrayed by this nation and more than half the people in it. And this is why I don't live in my country anymore. I mean, I do. I have a home of record there. I have a home there. But even now, I'm speaking to you from a foreign country. I won't disclose my location because people are always looking for me to hurt me. But, and I'm actually quite happy where I'm at in this part of the world because people here just mind their business. They get along. Yeah, there's a lot of corruption here, but ultimately, at the end of the day, there's no weirdos out there with blue hair that think they're a toaster, and identify as a dog with a collar and making weird noise and doing weird shit, and just upending the whole civilization. Americans have lost their mind, and this has been like a disease. It's spread throughout Europe. Look at Britain. I mean, they're circling toilet bowl. They're about to go under, and I don't know what to make of it all. So my question again, just is for people to think about, is what are we going to do about it? Are we just going to keep going down this road until what end? How's it going to end? And I don't think it's going to end well. Personally, I think we got about 4 years left before we're in the final throes of a nation and maybe in the final throes of a civilized world. So,
well, this is where I get into the number of people, Dale, that have gone through what you've gone through, what I've gone through, what others have gone through. Tina Peters is going through, Patrick Byrne. I mean, I could go down the line. These are people that have been victimized by a system that literally has done real harm to the American spirit. It serves as an example of how they can just beat people. And I could talk about the FBI and what they did with the pipe bomber. I mean, Dale, they took a person, they took a guy that is a mentally disabled man who runs pizzas, autistic dude that frankly does not have has no wherewithal. They took him, they framed him up because it came out that we found this CIA pipe bomber. So they framed this kid. And only by accident did the defense counsel for this kid find that the Kirchhoff, the CIA, the Denver police officer turned CIA employee, failed a polygraph on the two questions he was asked: was, were you the pipe bomber, and did you actually have any involvement in placing the pipe bombs? Failed both those questions in a CIA polygraph. How do you explain that, Dale? That our government would frame them up, frame you up, takes things away from you, do bad things to you because you have this bloated government, and then tell you, you're not giving me enough. Give me more, slave.
Yeah. For anybody out there that doubts, the effectiveness of a polygraph, they're very effective. Now, I've been through them, and they're nerve-wracking, and it's very hard to defeat one. They're pretty good. There's organizations out there that are antipolygraph.org, but this guy got popped on a polygraph. He's probably guilty. The way I see it.
So I have a right bundle branch block. So I have an arrhythmia. So I mean, you can't. A polygraph will look like Swiss cheese because my heart literally jumps, beats, and does all sorts of weird stuff.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, a polygraph can't determine if you're lying or telling the truth. It's the polygrapher that has to make that. It's actually a board. So the polygrapher, he can write his summary, but normally there's a board of people that will actually review it, and then they come to they make the decision. And it's not even lying. It's just showing deception, right? Basically, right. That's what it is, right? So, it wouldn't surprise me one bit that this was all a setup. Over the years, I don't know if ever heard John Cullen. He's a pretty popular journalist, investigative journalist, and I got lashed up with him on some podcasts. And the guy's a hound dog. And we started looking really hard at a lot of things that have happened over the years, like, for example, Butler Creek, the shooting, the attempt assassination, Las Vegas shooting, Charlie Kirk. And I got to tell you, man, just through my analysis with him, there's a lot of lying and deception going on at the highest levels. And I am really concerned. I thought, surely government wouldn't hose us like that. Somebody's hosing us, somebody's screwing us. And, and the lies that have been perpetrated, and I've seen the lies, and I mean, the facts were right there, and it completely discount them. Makes me very concerned. It makes me question what kind of government do we live in, or country do we live in now? And is it just our country? And I would say no. It's probably all the countries do something like this. And I don't think you can move anywhere in this world and find another place that's like utopia. It's just not there. Everything is on the verge of dystopia already. But Butler Creek, for example, John Cullen actually testified there were two snipers. All the evidence, including the Secret Service, stood up and said, yeah, there were two snipers. Have you heard that? No, they said, get out of here. That's all BS. Get the hell out of here, right? Nobody wanted to talk about stuff like that. Nobody wanted to talk about the Las Vegas shooter, right? They killed 50, including himself, 52 people. Nobody talked about the 3 Arab women that checked into the hotel with this guy. Nobody talked about the window that he supposedly shot out from wasn't broken and wasn't broken till the next morning. There's so much, man. I mean, it's so much wrong. And all the reporting and the lies and the disinformation. I don't know what to believe in. Quite frankly, John has disappeared, by the way. Nobody's been able to reach him. And the only way you could reach him is through Proton Mail. He coordinated a Zoom call with the guy because he won't give up his phone number. He won't give up his address. He's scared for his life. And now he's completely gone off the grid. I have not been able to reach him for the last 6-7 months. And he's running. He's scared because he knows that he knows too much and he's proven too much, and he's probably going to be, suicided. And that's unfortunate.
Isn't that where you come forward though, and you stay as front forward and visible as possible?
Well, he did, but something happened to this man because I know he and I had an opportunity to do a reality TV show, and he's all signed up for it, ready to go, and then poof, just disappeared. Something scared him. It makes absolutely no sense. But when people see Americans, man, they go to work every day. They do their little thing. They have no idea what the rest of the world looks like out here. When you try to tell somebody that Al Qaeda was in Panama City Beach, Florida, looking for me, they think I got penis growing out of my head, like, that's crazy, But I actually have confirmation from another Green Beret that lives in my neighborhood. Called me and said, dude, they're looking for you. And he actually saw it, right? In fact, there's another group that came by and tried to kidnap his wife in a van. Some Arabs that he has some issues with. This is actually going on in our country. I've got friends of mine that are being hound dogged by cartels because you know what the number one commodity for cartels is, right? It's not cocaine. It's not drugs. It's trafficking, human trafficking, particularly children. And my particular friend happens to be working in that space recovering these kids. And when he recovers them, his job is to protect them and move them to safety, usually outside the country. And the stories I'm gonna have to have him on your show one day. You've got to listen to
let's do it.
You got to hear what he's got to say. It'll make you throw up. It really will. And holy cow! And Americans are complicit in this. Like American families are complicit in literally creating halfway houses with these kids before they get sold off to wherever they're going to go. And I remember I asked him one time, I said, what's the value of a child? I mean, what are these people paying for a kid? And he told me the children that fetch the most money are little girls, blonde hair, around the ages of 5 years old. And he said, that's a six figure number right there. I mean, it's sick, right? It's a sick country we live in. And at the same time, we got people saying pedophilia is just, it's normal, it's okay. They're promoting this stuff and they're protecting these weirdos that, are changing children's sex and talking them into all this craziness. I'm personally, I mean, everybody's got an opinion on abortion, but I'm still trying to get my head around how is it okay to kill millions and millions of babies every year? How is it okay for a woman to go, you know what? This my body, my choice is a bullshit propaganda slogan they started a long time ago because it works perfectly when you had women took away, women's suffrage, you let them vote, and then you say, your body, your choice, it's not your body. It's just two people's bodies, two separate DNAs. But anyways, I could talk on hours for that one. But I just look at the whole world and the whole country right now. What used to be truth is now a lie. What was a lie is truth, and everything's backwards and forwards. It's everything. Like you said, if you speak up, you're the bad guy. You tell the truth, you're the bad guy. And I have no hope, man. I really don't. I always thought that the American resolve would overcome this, and I don't see it. And even in this administration, I was rooting for Trump. I still am. But
It
this
just
guy
doesn't
is.
seem, it doesn't seem the same, does it? Doesn't
No,
seem the
he's
same.
got a lot of bad guys in his camp. There's a lot of bad guys. He's got a lot of backstabbers in his camp.
How
And
is he going to get rid of Todd Blanche? I mean, Todd Blanche is, just a part of the people that have actually stopped us from getting to the bottom of what's happened with Tina Peters. I mean, the entire thing that we deal with inside of the government is all run by shitty, trashy, evil people at every level. And we're sitting back, Dale. I know you're sitting back, chomping at the bit, thinking to yourself, man, they hide. They hide behind the police. They hide behind the ability that they can stop you by but you want to punch these people flat in the face. Tell me you don't.
yeah, no, I do.
Tell me you don't want to beat the brakes off of these pieces of shit that have really
Dude,
hurt people in our community.
I want to do more than that, honestly. But I'm going to
Yeah,
be
we're not
nice
talking
about
about
it.
that. We'll just say punch in the face.
I'll be really nice about it. But you know what? We have a lot of red hats and black robes in our country. And these judges they're not even lawyers. I mean, look at Jackson. What? This woman can't even define a woman, and the crap that she comes up with. This person's not smart enough to be a judge. Yet she's making decisions that affect our lives and our children's lives, and she'll be around for the next 30 years.
No, she won't. We're gonna get rid of her. I mean, we're gonna legally we're gonna get rid of her. I have to clarify it now because I just talked about punching
Yeah, I
people in
know,
the
right?
face, and I shouldn't have to do that. But I got to play this for you because this douche canoe. I don't even know what else to call her. She is. Oh my gosh. Take a deep breath, Joe. You're gonna hurt someone if you don't. Here, I just put it in there. The Boonjani, can't tell you what a woman is, Brown. This retard of all retards. She's like massive retard. She's one of the dumbest human beings known to man. She was talking yesterday about her case for birthright citizenship.
Yeah, Japanese wallet.
I'm not. This is unbelievable. For those of you that don't know, Kamikaze Jackson, right? Do you guys have it yet? This will take the cake, but she talks about the fact that if you steal a wallet in Japan, that you're now a Japanese citizen, and that's your allegiance. So if you're there, you have an allegiance. I mean, just think about how dumb you would have to be, Dale. Let me just think of how stupid of a person you would have to be for that to be your argument. There's high school
and it was.
debate. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
I know, and it's like, she must have stayed up all night trying to think of that analogy because it's like, where are we going with this one? You lose a wallet in Japan, and then the police. You can call the police, and they'll go get your wallet back, and then and they'll punish the person that took the wallet. And how does that relate to people coming in our country and having babies here, anchor babies, and making a business out of running an anchor baby service? How do you equivocate that? But she tried, and she just made herself look even stupider, right? So again, this is really scary because this is our judicial system. These are the people who are going to judge you, and potentially could judge you if you find yourself, in a situation where, I could be in that situation. And these are the people that are going to make decisions about your freedom and your children's freedom and important matters to all of us in our society. And when they do something like that, wallets and Japanese, how did you come up with all that? What? It's like, hey, that's a Kamala Harris move right there.
Okay, we got what? Okay, let's go ahead and play it. I want to play this so everybody understands what we're talking about.
I was thinking about this, and I think there are various sources that say this, that you obviously have permanent allegiance based on being born in whatever country you're from. That's what everybody recognizes. But you also have local allegiance when you are on the soil of this other sovereign. And I was thinking, I, a U.S. citizen, am visiting Japan. And what it means is that, if I steal someone's wallet in Japan, the Japanese authorities can arrest me and prosecute me. It's allegiance, meaning can they control you as a matter of law. I can also rely on them if my wallet is stolen to, under Japanese law, go and prosecute the person who has stolen it. So there's this relationship based on, even though I'm a temporary traveler, I'm just on vacation in Japan, I'm still locally owing allegiance in that.
Yeah, how do you just allegiance? There's a difference between allegiance and respecting somebody's cultures and laws.
Well, you don't have a choice. You could be arrested in any country if you don't respect their laws.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You
Right.
signed that when you came across the border and you handed them your passport. You it's a contract. You're saying, look, I'm coming into your country, you're gonna let me in. And the trade-off is don't break our laws or you're going to jail.
Right.
It's really simple. But what she's saying is that when you come across the border and you walk in, you're saying, I pledge allegiance to the Japanese flag of the Japanese place, not in America.
Absolutely.
She's retarded. She's just a retard.
Yeah.
Right?
And people applauded her for that. Yeah, that's so smart of you. Man, I got toasters smarter than her. Jesus Christ.
All right, let's talk through that specifically. Let's talk through a part of what you're talking about here. Super important that we look at this from the perspective of the why, in my opinion, like the why. The entire country is in turmoil. The judiciary is largely rotted. These are evil, evil people. I mean, you're talking about the most evil people out there are judges. Sorry, if you're a good judge, stand up and talk about the bad judges. Look at stuff. Go look at your counterparts, your colleagues' cases, and when they get it wrong, say, I don't know what the hell he's thinking. Like, this is ridiculous. This is bad for us, right? So there should be some review, and people should be able to kick judges off the bench, period, end stop. There shouldn't be any lifetime appointments to a federal judge. That's absurd, in my opinion, okay? But we have so much rot, Dale, everywhere. It's like rot. What's the outcome? Where are we headed towards? Because I can tell you what it feels like to me, and you're not going to like it, what I think. And the more and more they do these things to hurt average everyday Americans, the more people are going to be like, well, they're going to get a case of what you and I both know is the most dangerous thing for a competent man, and that is a case of the fuckets.
Yeah. Well, look
Right?
at history. Every time this has happened, what was the end state? What finally happened? There was a collapse, and it ended up with a lot of people getting killed. And to your point, we're living in an age where we have more advanced weapons at home, and thank God we have the Second Amendment. We got a lot of guns, and that's why they're trying so hard to take them from us, because that's the one equalizer. And I don't want to sound like a revolutionary, because to your point, they'll come knocking on my door and accuse me of being a terrorist, and they'll spin it. But we all know the real truth. The real truth is, and I've said it before, I said it on Alex Jones' show, I wasn't calling for a revolution, but basically I was putting it out there. I was like, you know what, and I'll say it again on this show. Not every man's a soldier. Not every man wants to be a soldier, but every man needs to be a warrior. You need to be ready to prepare to protect your family, your friends, your neighbors, your homeland, and from the enemy within. The oath that I signed when I joined the military it didn't say just from foreign enemies. It also said domestic enemies. Be prepared to defend for that. And and I remember Alan West one time told me, he said, and there's no statute of limitations on an oath. It's for life. And I do believe that, because I have children in my country. I have family in my country, in our country, and I will come back and fight for it. And I won't be nice about it. If we're going to do this, let's do this and go all the way, and do a complete reset. That's the way I see it. But who knows? I think it could go to that, but actually, I don't think it will. I personally, this is where I differ than you, because I think we've been so brainwashed. Men have been so escalated that, and then as you watch the economy starting to collapse, as things, AI comes along, there's going to come a day where I think a lot of men are just going to lose their will. And it's going to be up to the men, not the women. It's going to be up to the men. The women are going to get us in trouble. They already have. But it's going to be the men that have to fight. Going to have to fight our way back out of it. And I think most men don't have the will anymore. That's my opinion.
Look, Dale, let me just tell you something about men that lose their will. Losing your will to live causes one of two things to happen: fight or flight.
Yeah.
Most men will choose fight.
I hope you're right.
Most men will choose death over dishonor. They're not going to tuck tail. They may be up to the effeminate, right? Up to the effeminate. The effeminate, those guys are just weaker than rainwater anyway. But up to that point of the effeminate, most men will choose death.
I hope you're right.
Fight because they'll choose death.
I hope you're right. But I think as time goes along, you can see how this has happened with first, second, third wave feminism. And they've slowly been chipping away at masculinity. And I think if we go on with time, we're gonna have less and less men. We're gonna have males, but we're not gonna have men willing to fight. And that's what I believe. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little pessimistic, but my optimism's kind of gone. I've watched what happens in our society. We're watching other men beating up other men's wives in front of them. They're not even lifting a finger anymore. And then when they do, they're the ones that go to jail and get in trouble. What do you do, man? I hope you're right. I wish men would grab their sacks for a change and start pushing back hard. This is why I get mad at conservatives, because I'm a very conservative guy, and I watch people conservative men being beat down and just walking away. It's like, push back, push back, stop taking it in the ass and start fighting back. And they're just not doing it because they're being brainwashed, because that's not what you're supposed to do. It's not nice. Be more sensitive, Violence doesn't solve anything, which I beg to differ. Violence solves a lot of shit. And so,
hey, listen,
I don't know, man.
I've never seen a bully that got punched in the mouth decide to be a bully much anymore. If they know the consequences of being punched in the mouth, they think about it twice. At least they think about their target a little bit more.
Well, that's true, but we're talking about mobs, not individual bullies, right? So that's different. We got the mob mindset that we have to deal with. You ever watch the left?
We have to create our own mob.
Well, thank you. You said it. You said what I'm thinking. This is what I've been trying to tell people, is we need to stand up and start pushing back as a collective. Men need to grab their sacks and do the right thing, because the government's not doing it. Law enforcement's not doing it. They're placating you, taking your taxes, and say, yeah, we'll handle it. And it never gets handled. This is why we're in this place. It's time for good men in our country to take this country back. That's what needs to happen. The only way it's going to start is when we stop rolling over, especially to the lefties. Punch them back in the nose, punch them 3 times. You said it, and you're absolutely right. We need to create our own mobs. And this is why I got pissed off when I started off with, the right, the silent majority. They're a bunch of cowards, all right? Oh, we're going to be silent. We're just going to vote them out. That's how that shit worked the first time with Trump's election, right?
Well, you can't vote people out because you don't have control of the elections. They're all fraudulent.
Exactly.
Right? So you're trying to make a fraudulent election work for you. It just doesn't work.
Exactly. It seems like doom and gloom. And it's not just the politics. It's not, all the social stuff. There's so much more that's going to compound the problem. I mentioned earlier in the beginning, AI. Imagine a world soon. There's all kinds of predictions out there, but let's just say 6 years from now, 80% of the population in America, probably the world, no longer has employment because they've been replaced by AI. Now, look what happened during COVID. When COVID happened, everybody lost their job. And they were like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Because they had one job and that job is now gone. And they're sitting at home going, please, Biden, give me my $2,000 supplemental check, right? It's not like that's going to go a long way. That was all bullshit. That was just to placate everybody again. But imagine a society where, okay, AI has replaced most people. We got to come up with some way to, keep placating everybody. Just give them a universal income. Now, do you think the elites are going to get that income? They're not giving up their money. They're not going to give up all
Right.
their.
No, they're not going to bring up anything.
No, they're going to go down. The minions are going to get, the 15-minute cities. You're going to get a monthly digital allowance. It's going to be like everybody else. Now, there's the question I have. I was on Danny Jones' podcast one time. He asked me about it, and he thought, it might not be a bad idea. And here's my response to that. How many times can you go to the beach in a week? How many videos can you play? How many times can you jerk off? And here's the problem, just like in COVID, right? When men don't have the ability to provide, protect, and build anymore, all right, this is where you said earlier, it's almost a form of dying for a man, and you have a choice: just die, wither away, and die off, and be, or cause trouble. And I think it's going to go that way. And I can see a government where, hey, you can have all the alcohol you want, all the drugs you want. I don't see how that will be a good thing. It sounds really cool, like, oh, it's a utopia. I don't have to work. I get to sleep in late. Bullshit. It might be great for the women and kids, but for men like me, I'd lose my damn mind. I would lose my mind, and I would go out and stir up trouble. In fact, I would try to overthrow the government. I teach them a lesson. I'm not going to sit back and live a life like that. It's not in my DNA. It's not in most men's DNA. We're built differently, so imagine that future, which is right around the corner. I mean, you hear Elon Musk talk about all the time. We need to come up with universal income. We need to put originally he said we need to put guardrails on this, but when the Chinese took off with AI, they're like, screw it, screw the guardrails, just go for broke because they're not going to play by the rules. So why should we? Even Trump said that. He said, ramp it up. Got to get ahead of them. The future looks really bleak. AI is going to be great. No, it's not. It's going to be great for the elite. They're great for the techs, those people. But for the minions, for the other 7.5 billion of us that don't have that kind of money and that kind of power, yeah, it's going to be a bad thing. And you're probably going to want to kill yourself. They don't even need to kill you. You do it yourself because you'll go through your ever-loving mind. Think about COVID, man. How many people were locked in their homes, abusing their children and their wives and all the crap that was going on, the alcoholism and the drug addictions, just from sitting in your house in COVID, because you didn't have a job anymore. Now think bigger picture. You're never going to have a job again unless you're in the AI field. Yeah, it's the scary times are ahead, and I think most people are just not thinking long term, but they should. It's not just now; it's long term. And who's at the controls? It's the government. It's controlled as the government and the elites. These monkeys in the World Economic Forum. Those monkeys, man, those controllers. They need to be dealt with harshly. They need to be reminded that no matter how much money and power you have, you don't outnumber the minions. And there's always a way for them to rise up and take you away, take you out. And just need to look at history. You're right. When men have had enough, very good chance they're gonna fight back, and then it's gonna be terrible things are gonna happen.
No, I don't disagree with you at all. And I think that
Yeah.
we're finally getting to that place where people are starting to realize that we have a system that is off the rails and has betrayed them. I mean, we're in a place of bondage right now, and only people like me. Look, I'm the type of guy where I just don't care. I don't care. I mean, people are like, oh, we're gonna come for you. Okay, come for me. Come for me. You have my address. But make peace with God, because I got a bag in the garage that you're gonna go in when I'm done.
Yep.
Right. So I mean, but the fact that I have to even say that that I have to put up with 6 years of people coming to my home doing harm, attacking my family, doing all the things that they've done. Dale, I think that I have been incredibly restrained, because any man that what happens if somebody attacks your wife and kids?
They'll never survive it. And they won't survive. Maybe the family won't either. I tell you what, I'm a mean, vengeful son of a bitch, man. You hurt me, I'm going to hurt you 10x. That's just how it works. You know, that's just how I've always been that way. I tell my kids, you get in a fight, a kid hit you one time, you hit him 3 times. You hit your kid, you hit him 3 more times. It's always 3 for 1. You always overpower this guy. You beat him into oblivion, and don't even try to pick him up and pat him off and shake his hand.
And
walk
people
away.
say that we're barbaric while
I know,
still
right?
supporting Israel going in and blowing people up. Sorry, I don't support it. I don't support it. I don't want to play any proxy wars. I want it to be America first. And we're not America first, we're America last. Like, the people here there's a replacement theology that is happening in our country. And some people don't like the fact that I use the word theology, but it is a religion to replace people, to replace us with people who are not, and have them come in and change everything and run for office and take over the ethos of our country. You see these judges whose names are alphabet. And I'm not saying that you can't have those people here. I'm not saying you can't have them here, but you have to assimilate to the ethos of our nation, right? And what we stand for. You don't get to come in here and put your radical retardation like Boonjani Brown or whatever her name is, right?
Mayor of New York. Yep.
or that freak, right?
You know, and it's a cancer, and it's just metastasizing very slowly. You know, they're patient but deliberate, and they're moving. You know, they're cloaking themselves, but they're all full of shit. Most people, unfortunately, you know, all you got to do is go on LinkedIn for a minute and look at all these people that have all these advanced degrees. And I'll quote Elon Musk here. He said, "You can buy an education, but you can't buy intelligence."
No,
and most of just like this, you know, John, what I can't even say her name, right? Freaking judge. I did. But anyways, even a person like that.
Booga.
Yeah, a person with an advanced degree, but is dumber than a damn rock, and has 0 effective intelligence, right?
Yeah.
And you see these people that are highly educated, but they're actually very linear. They're very smart in their field, but outside of common sense, they have 0. You know, I mean, when you have people that are supposedly very smart, that cannot define a woman, and thinks it's okay that men can have babies and you can be gender fluid, that's a certain kind of sickness, man. And it is some type of psychopathy, and it's brainwashing. Hell, Hitler knew how to do it. He did it. He convinced all the Germans that we need to kill the Jews because, for whatever, they're just bad, you know. And so, okay, let's kill them, right? So, I mean, the human condition, you know, we're very vulnerable. You know, we're very vulnerable to information, and part of the problem is people are very. There's a term called hedonistic utilitarianism, couched by a guy named Jeremy Bentham, philosopher in the mid 1700s, and essentially what he was saying was, as it relates to the human condition, we're basically lazy. We want to do the painless, easy things and not do the hard work to reach success. Then we get mad because we don't have nothing. We didn't succeed in life. We look at the people that did, and somehow we think that they got an advantage. But their only advantage was they worked harder than you, right? They earned their way. And people like that it's a very small percentage of our population. Most people fall in the hedonistic utilitarianism category. They're, you know, effectively, they want it hot now, they want it easy, and it's everybody else's fault because I didn't perform. You know, because I'm a dumbass, I'm lazy, and I didn't get something done. It wasn't my fault. It was their fault, right? That's the mindset that's America, and it's promoted and it's supported. You know, and this victimhood it's permeated our society. It's easier to be a victim than actually be, you know, someone that's actually earned their merits and through meritocracy actually becomes a real judge and earns the things they have in this country. That's all gone out the window. And guys that work the hardest, people that work the hardest in the country carry the biggest tax load. We carry the biggest tax load. We suffer the most on behalf of these other weak ass people, you know. And I'm going to call it like it is, you know. And you can't say, well, you know, everybody has an opportunity, you know, to succeed in America, and then, well, not everybody's so successful. And well, do we all have an opportunity, or do we not have an opportunity, right? So My family's nobody in my family on either side had a college education. Zero. Hell, my dad had 11th grade education. My mom had a 9th grade education. But you know, there are opportunities in our country to advance. I got a PhD. Now we have college degrees. My kids have college degrees because why? We did the work. You know, we did the work. We didn't go down the lazy route of, you know, hedonistic utilitarianism. We did the work. And it's a cultural thing to some degree, but really it comes back to your families and your parenting and values that are passed on from generation to generation. But all those values keep getting attacked by the left, right? For example, if you try to be a man, a provider, protector, and builder, it's toxic. And then guys go, I don't want to be toxic, so they water it down. They turn into a eunuch. You know, they let themselves be emasculated and castrated by their wives and by society, and they become no longer performative. You know, they just go along with the flow. This has been a system that's been in place for a long time. This is not something that happened in the last 4 years or 8 years. This is something that's been underway probably for the last 100 years, maybe even more, going all the way back to John D. Rockefeller. They have set us deliberately up for failure over these years, and they've been patient. And here we are. I think we're right at we're at terminal velocity now. And I think we're going to hit the ground. We're going to get ground rush here in a minute. Hit the ground freaking at full tilt, and I think it's all over. How it's going to end, I'm not sure, but I got a feeling our society when the world will never be the same in about 4 to 6 years. It will be nothing like we will recognize. There will be a lot of dead people.
Well, I hope not.
And
I hope that's
I
not
think
the
there
case.
will. You know what? Yeah, we can hope. But look, they tried to kill us already with the pandemic, the scandemic, the COVID vaccines. They're still killing how many millions of people, right? You can't say, oh, there was really a virus. And maybe there was a virus, but, I did the math on it. And I'm not the smartest guy on the planet. The survival rate for COVID was 99.9976%, right? So you had a better
Agreed.
chance of dying from common cold than you did from COVID. But they spun that up. They took your money. They locked you down. You lost your job. They scared the hell out of everybody, pitted everybody against each other. That was a test run for what's coming. And it worked. 80% of the world's population fell for the scam. And I got friends now that fell for it and go, man, do I ever regret I ever did that? I took those damn vaccines, and they're shitting in their pants every day, wondering when they're going to start with their turbo cancer or their freaking heart attacks and everything else that comes along with this. I dare call it a vaccine, right? Which is called a chemical injection. It's insane, man. It's insane. And we allowed it. We allowed it.
We allowed it. That's the biggest thing is we allowed it. Dale, I gotta do a whole rundown now. Look, I could talk to you for like 12 hours. I could listen to you. I'm sitting here sending text messages, but they're like, look, Dale's on a. We got to meet, by the way. When you come to the United States, we got to make sure that I have you in studio. I need you in studio so we might get in trouble. There's a high probability we might do some planning. I got whiteboards. I mean, I got deck boards. I got it all, and I got an arsenal. I'm not saying that we would use an arsenal, but we can go out and shoot a little bit. Let's see how good a shot you are. See how big a boy you are. See if we can, have a little fun.
I would love that, man. I remember when I went on the Alex Jones show before the election, I bought a one-way ticket because honestly, I didn't think I'd make it back to the airport to go back home before I got arrested because I wasn't sure what I was going to say. Luckily, none of that happened, but I'm a troublemaker, but only because I'm not afraid to tell the truth, and I'm not going to shut my mouth to placate everybody else and protect their little feelings. I'm going to call it the way I see it. You may not like it, but that doesn't mean I'm wrong. And that's what you see is what you get. And I'm old enough, I know I'm older than you, but I don't care either. I don't give a shit.
I mean, look,
so,
you're not that much older. I mean, I don't know. Well, how old are you?
63.
All right, you're a little older than me. But I promise you're just as feisty as I am.
Oh yeah. I'm still a warrior, man.
and I think that's what people need to understand is you're a warrior till you're not. And that's on your dying breath. You're going to get down and smell that dirt, right? It doesn't matter. Right. I'll come back as a centurion.
There you go. Right. I'm going to come back as a gladiator, man. It'd be a lot of fun.
My wife says it to me all the time. She's like, yeah, why are you training like this? Like, why do you train? And I go, I got to make sure that I'm still as fast as I was. And I hate being slower than that. So I put myself
Yeah.
in positions where I'm like, okay, am I still as fast as I was? And
Yeah.
I don't think I'm just as fast because the next day I feel it. But in the moment, I'm still fast, but I
Yeah.
feel it the next day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, you got to keep training, man. Age is just a number. Honestly, it's just a number. I go out, I run with my 19-year-old son every day, and I run like I did 30 years ago. I lift weights every day, heavy weights. I'm doing a lot of bag work. You know, you're only as old as you allow yourself to be. And honestly, I want to be around as long as I can and be viable as I can for my family. And I'm not doing my family any good if I'm weak, sick, on medicine, you know, hopping around in a freaking wheelchair and a cane. I'm not doing that, man. I'm a fighter, and my job is to provide, protect, and build. And God damn it, that's what I'm going to do until somebody kills me. And good luck with that.
All
So.
right. All right, I got you. Dale, thanks, brother. I appreciate you. I'll be praying for you afterwards. God bless you. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for being here again. I'm
Anytime.
rejuvenated, and I'm telling you right now, one day we're going to be shoulder to shoulder taking on some bad guys. I can see it. I can feel it.
I know, man. I know. Who's going to be the general, me or you?
You can be the general. Hey, look, I know how to serve and I know how to lead. I don't mind being in any position.
All right.
But as long as you let me go through the door first, we're good.
All right, we're good. All right, you got it.
All right. God
All right,
bless you,
guys.
brother. All right.
Appreciate you. Bye-bye.
All right. Dale's one of my favorites. Actually, the thing is about GBs, guys that have seen fire, is that they're great to talk to. They're fun to talk to because they truly serve. He doesn't know anything other than service. It's just who he is. It's his DNA. So I look forward to seeing him in person. Stephanie's on. I got to get Stephanie on. We're going to talk about Tina Peters. We got a lot to talk about. We're talking about the pipe bomber today. We're going to get Kyle Seraphin on. But we have Stephanie Lambert on here, who, by the way, is being attacked in ways. I was talking about that thing from yesterday. We got to have this conversation. Stephanie, welcome to the show. Stephanie, turn your video on. Stephanie. Yeah, we'll take a quick break and we're going to get Stephanie on. I'm going to play some stuff for you that is going to blow your mind. Here are some audio tapes about jurors that were interviewed. These are jurors that were interviewed in the Tina Peters case. You want to know how corrupt this case is? It's so corrupt all the way to the very top, from the governor of Colorado to the attorney general to that piece of shit Dan Rubenstein, who should rot in hell. I mean, he's a devil worshiper, so why not? All the way down. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Joe, Supreme Leader of DCF Guns. What is DCF Guns, you ask? We're the best damn gun store and range in the universe. Do we have guns? We have all the guns. We got small guns. We got big guns. We even have beastly guns. We offer all types of training, and we have 5 ranges across our 3 locations. I'm a good shot. And of course, we have all types of ammo. We even have flamethrowers. Woo! We offer incredible membership opportunities, and members save even more on guns, ammo, and accessories. Come join the DCF family today, where we keep the range hot and the deals hotter. It's hot.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honorbound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honorbound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honorbound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, You're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle.
Okay, I did unmute myself. Okay. Okay. He's teasing. You guys got to be quiet, okay?
Oh, we are? Oh, crap. By the way, I was trying to look for a picture of Stephanie Lambert in a bikini. I'm still trying to find it. Hold on. I will find one. I got one. We got to find it. Stephanie, welcome to the show.
Hey, Joe, thanks for having me on.
I know you can't be on a video because you got your kids out there and you guys are running around. So I was trying to find a picture. Find me a picture of Stephanie in a bikini, and make sure it's not fake news. Just AI it.
You're too funny.
So-
But I don't know that we should be laughing, Joe. This is a really, really terrible day for Tina here.
No, it's a good day and a terrible day all at the same time because it's forcing the hand of President Trump to do something, right? Let's be honest. This is a good day because it's defining. Pam Bondi's out, Todd Blanche is in. Now he's got to make a decision on whether or not Todd Blanche is going to do the right thing. He's been the obstructionist up to this point. So now we have a target. There's nobody else other than Todd Blanche that it can be that is stopping them from going in and snatching Tina Peters up. Would you agree?
There's a lot of information behind all of that where little birdies tell me things at times, but I think
what part did I say is wrong?
Well, I don't know that you're wrong. I think that they've allowed a process to play out, and that's what I want to talk about. The court's opinion and order today. The most offensive part is everybody's entitled to a trial with a jury by their peers, but it has to be a fair trial under the Constitution, not just any trial, right? With they can't swear under oath that they hate the defendant and they're going to find them guilty no matter what the evidence says, right? They have a constitutional right to a fair and impartial jury. And here we had juror misconduct, and that needed to be investigated. There was a motion filed right after the trial where an investigator who's a former FBI agent went out and interviewed the jurors. And there are recordings, and I think you're going to play, but not the video. You're just going to play audio, right? And not identify the juror. We don't want to do that. But I want you to play the audio of this juror who thought that she was being targeted during Tina's trial, never disclosed it to our knowledge to anyone, not the bailiffs, not the judge, thought she was being targeted as a result of being a juror on Tina's trial, thought that it was Tina, that was involved in targeting her, had this bias and sat there the entire trial, deliberated, and found Tina guilty and never mentioned to the court that she had this bias, and she thought that Tina had targeted her by apparently her business phone wires were cut. So she had some type of harm done to her business that's close to the courthouse. Tina had nothing to do with this. And the woman says this on the recording, right? She says, we later found out it had nothing to do with that, but she thought it did, and she never disclosed it. And she likely, what do you think the odds are that she sat there during the trial thinking that she had been targeted and said nothing to the other jurors during lunch?
Quite. Well, we have an audio. We're not going to play the video. Can you put something up that shows that we're talking to Stephanie Lambert, please? Because it just shows me having this conversation in my ear with her, with the people. So, whew. Let's yeah, no, that's not in a bikini, but put me up with her. You can't just have just Stephanie there. What's happening here? Damon, come on, you're killing me. She looks so serious in that photo. I mean, that's.
I'm sorry, that made my day. All right, that'll work.
All right.
So
hold on. We have a recording of the investigator. We're not going to put the person's face up, but this is a couple minutes of an investigator, and I think that it's important for us to play this because, well, we have a couple of them, but we'll play this first one. This is a juror not happy. Go ahead and play it. Just audio, but Stephanie next week.
And I'm with the third-party firm, and just going around talking to jurors about their experience as a juror. Just wondering if you want to talk to me.
Not really. Okay. No, I'm good.
Nope, no worries at all.
Yeah, no, that was enough fun for me.
You've,
I didn't volunteer for it, and I had to go through it anyway.
You're tapping it. How long was the trial?
Like 10 days. Yeah, enough. It was enough.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'd like to not think about it. My phone lines were cut at work. I have all kinds of bullshit that went on while I was in the trial, so I'm good.
Because you're a business owner too, right?
I'm a business owner. I was 5 minutes from there, and I had my phone line cut first Friday.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it just ended up being some random vagrant out fucking around, but it was enough to make me wonder for a week and a half if I was being targeted. So it was just random bullshit that happened at the same time, but it was enough to make me go, I don't want nothing to do with it, especially with who it was.
Yeah.
Joe, can I jump in here?
So as far as it
Yeah,
goes, I'm good.
Yeah, a lot of politics around it, and
I know, not.
So I think the recording is sitting next to a microphone. I'm getting a ton of feedback.
Oh, you are? All right, keep playing it, guys.
That's why when the phone line got cut that first Friday, I was like, done.
and a lot of changes within the law and case law has been established since then. So
Yeah.
we're just really curious to kind of hear your experience, but you're totally
Yeah,
fine.
no, I'm good.
You're like, I am more than good.
No, I'm more than good. Like I said, I had my phone line cut. It cost me $4,000 before that following Monday because I had to have a phone. My shop had to have a phone. It was a shit show. And the company I've been with for like 10 years couldn't be bothered to come out for a whole week. Like I said, that's regardless of the other stuff. Like, it was just lots of fun.
And then you're stuck and you can't be on your phone sitting as a juror.
Couldn't even
can't
worry
take care of
about work.
business.
I had to worry about her bullshit and the stupidity she did.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys' time. Thanks for
Thank you very
chatting
much.
with me. So, hey, enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys.
Stephanie, you there?
I am. I think we need to go back and go over that. I had a lot of feedback, and then it was clear. But what so the investigator approached her, and he asked her if she wanted to participate in an interview, and she said no. But then she proceeded to complain, right? And she went on complaining, and in her complaining, she made it really clear that she thought she was being targeted and gave details about the phone wires and that she thought it was Tina.
But it wasn't Tina.
Of course not. And no one associated with Tina, and the police told her that. But the key is she never told that to the court timely. And when we filed a motion, what Judge Barrett could have done is called that juror in at a minimum. That juror, probably the whole panel would have been more appropriate, and swore them under oath and investigated the bias that took place during the trial, while the trial was going on. The whole time when you're sitting there listening to the witnesses testify, this juror thought that Tina was interfering with her business. That's bias. And she didn't disclose it. So there's United States Supreme Court precedent that addresses this very issue, that you can't have a biased juror. And the Court of Appeals in Colorado just didn't even really consider it. They just said, "Oh, that juror bias, that doesn't seem to fit. We don't see an exception here to the rule." And they made a big mistake in doing that. The U.S. Supreme Court has already ruled on this. You can't have a biased juror. So if you could play that clip again, starting at the point where she starts describing the phone wires and what she was thinking during the trial. I'd like to hear that again. I haven't heard this in a while.
All right, let's play. Can we play it, guys? Just play the whole thing. It's only 2 minutes.
Oh, my name's James, and I'm with the third-party firm, and just going around talking to jurors about their experience as a juror. I wonder if you do want to talk to me.
Not really.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
Nope, no worries at all.
Yeah, no, that was enough fun for me.
You,
I didn't volunteer for it, and I had to go through it anyway.
you're tapping it. How long was the trial?
Like 10 days. Yeah, enough. It was enough.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'd like to not think about it. My phone lines were cut at work. I have all kinds of bullshit that went on while I was in the trial, so I'm good.
Because you're a business owner too,
I'm
right?
a business owner. I was 5 minutes from there, and I had my phone line cut first Friday.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it just ended up being some random vagrant out fucking around, but it was enough to make me wonder for a week and a half if I was being targeted. So it was just random bullshit that happened at the same time, but it was enough to make me go, I don't want nothing to do with it, especially with who it was.
Yeah.
It made me very concerned. So as far as it goes, I'm good.
Yeah, a lot of politics around it, and
I know, and that's why when the phone line got cut that first Friday, I was like, done.
And a lot of changes within the law and case law has been established since then. So,
yeah,
we're just really curious to kind of hear your experience, but you're
yeah, no, I'm good.
You're like, I am more than good.
No, I'm more than good. Like I said, I had my phone line cut. It cost me $4,000 before that following Monday because I had to have a phone. My shop had to have a phone. It was a shit show. And the company I've been with for like 10 years couldn't be bothered to come out for a whole week. Like, so that's regardless of the other stuff. Like, it was just lots of fun.
And then you're stuck and you can't be on your phone sitting as a juror.
Couldn't even worry about work. I had to worry about her bullshit and the stupidity she did.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys' time.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Thank you very much.
with me. Yep. So, hey, enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys.
Yeah.
Joe, to me that's clear. A week and a half she sat there. A week and a half she sat there. She didn't mention it to one person. They're given instructions when they're sworn as the panel that if anything comes up there to notify the court. She never notified the court. The judge would have brought the attorneys in and we would have voir dired her and questioned her, and the court would have had to find that she was still fit to serve with this impression that she had. There were alternates that could have deliberated in her place that she deprived by keeping this to herself and not informing the court. It's really clear. She thought that she was being targeted because of this case, and as she put it, given who she was, meaning Tina. She had bias. She had her opinion about Tina formed before she went in to deliberate, and that is exactly what the Supreme Court says cannot happen. You have to be an unbiased juror and listen in a fair, impartial way to every witness throughout the trial.
All right. Well, we have one more from another juror as well. This juror was asked if there was a requirement to maintain voting records, would that have made a difference in Tina's outcome? This is another piece of that. Stephanie, go ahead and play this.
Correct.
And by day number 3, I was just so tired of courtroom procedures. And the first couple days, you're kind of running off adrenaline. It's kind of fun, and then it's not.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting though. It was a different experience. I never been in a courtroom like that for any reason, so that was definitely different.
Yeah, sure, no, absolutely. So with Tina, if there was a requirement to maintain election voter records, would that have made a difference for you in the imaging process of that if she had a legal obligation to protect those voter records? Would that have made a difference for you?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so yeah, pre-imaging and then after imaging when they had their update, then obviously everything was wiped clean.
Yeah.
You think that would have made a difference for you?
Yeah, definitely.
At least for that particular charge.
Stephanie, he basically said that he would not, that would have made a difference if the evidence of her defense would have been allowed in.
That's right. And the court in its opinion today, called the Attorney General's statement during the rebuttal closing Remember, the prosecutor gets to close twice. They
Right.
do their opening, closing, and then the defense responds, and then they get a rebuttal. And the defense doesn't get to get back up and correct anything. So that's the last thing the jurors heard was a material misstatement of law and fact from the Attorney General. And in the Court of Appeals opinion in order today, they referred to it as fleeting, and no evidence that impacted any juror's opinion and outcome of the case. And,
Right.
and that's not what this juror is saying right here. He's saying, wait a minute, had I known that that was a legal requirement, I would have ruled differently. I would have come up with a different opinion. It absolutely impacted Tina's case. And that's why these jurors needed to be interviewed by the court after, as it related to the bias, because we would have discovered some of these things timely prior to sentencing. But remember, she was sentenced October 3rd, right before the election in November, a month before. And what the court said today is that Judge Barrett inappropriately killed her free speech and enhanced her sentence. And that's what he was intending to do. He was intending to do that. And not only to just Tina, to every clerk in the state of Colorado. And it probably trickled over. It was a national media case to the entire country. It scared every clerk just weeks before that election.
So how are we going to get to the bottom of this?
Well, this is still going to be a process. We have to meet with Tina and discuss this entire long opinion in order, but it's just really disappointing that this key evidence that the court didn't consider. I mean, as you can see, these recordings are compelling. These are not jurors that.
But here's let's just get to the point of the appeals court. The Colorado Appeals Court, all the way up to the Colorado Supreme Court, these are the same people that found that that President Trump should be removed from the ballot and was overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court 9-0. These are not functioning good people. These are they all play ball together. It's like and I know you hate it when I say this about it, but the Colorado judiciary is rotted to the core end to end.
Well, the United States Supreme Court has ruled on this issue before, and actually on a Colorado case. There was a juror bias issue that was brought to the United States Supreme Court. I don't know, I think in the 80s. I don't have it in front of me. But it was the same issue, and the U.S. Supreme Court said, no, Colorado, you got this wrong. It has to be a fair and impartial jury. And the person got a new trial. So it went all the way up. So it's really frustrating. I hear you with your impressions related to the court being unfair. I think they took a long time. The decision is not well thought out. It certainly doesn't go through everything that was raised by Tina in a thorough manner. For example, these juror recordings and what the jurors had to say about the trial. And she should have had this reversed and remanded because she had jurors that were biased and had a new trial on each and every count.
Okay, so the problem with this is that Dan Rubenstein is saying accept it, and it'll go to sentencing, or you get to get more pound of flesh against you and have you stay in jail until this is adjudicated.
Well, I don't want to comment on next steps because Tina has to be involved in that, and there's different strategies we might not want to talk about right now until they're executed. But this isn't the last say, obviously, and there's issues that absolutely have to be dealt with. For example, there's precedent on the Secretary of State's authority. She's the executive branch in Colorado. And we saw a number of these cases throughout the country where there were executive orders that created criminal penalties, right? The court didn't sort through any of that in its opinion and order. Remember, the question to Tina as to who's going to be in your office was not a statute, and it was not a promulgated rule under the Administrative Procedures Act. It was just asked in light of COVID. That's not a rule, that's not a law. So the Secretary of State's authority to demand that answer from Tina is what this entire case hinges upon, and the state's own witness said it's not a rule, it's not a law. So the court didn't sort through that either. There's a number of issues that absolutely have to be addressed, but I can't give you at this point the exact plan, but it's just a really, really disappointing ruling today.
So the ruling is disappointing, but it gives us some hope. But the part of the ruling where it reinforced the convictions, even the conviction that was written as a felony, or written as a misdemeanor, but processed as a felony, even that stood.
Well, the court addressed that in the Tina's initial brief that was drafted by a number of attorneys, I think didn't properly state the law at the time of Tina's case. It referred to the code I think you're referring to in place now. And I think that's the issue you're referring to. That's not the critical issue. It's a fair and impartial jury that's the key issue that the U.S. Supreme Court has said unanimously, this goes back down for a new trial if you don't have a fair jury. And then number two, they didn't opine on the fact that the Secretary of State didn't have a rule or a law, right? Like, so there has to be a legal basis for the question of if the Secretary of State walked up to Tina in a grocery store and held up an apple and said, "Is this an orange? Is it orange?" And Tina lied to her. That's not lying to a public official, right? So these nuances the court did not sort through. And then don't forget Gerald Wood perjured himself throughout the trial, lied, was caught under oath lying, and the Attorney General's office hasn't done anything about that.
Well, they're not doing anything. I think that's why we were just talking about it with Dale. That's why people are pissed off. They're finished, right? They feel like they've been put in this position where no matter what side they turn to, and it doesn't seem to get to a place where the American people we can see it as obvious as in front of us.
It is obvious. I think the wheels of justice move slow, and I very much believe that they are methodically looking at everything with fresh eyes. And I think there will be a process that is pursued with the government. If you're asking me if I think that all of this will just be ignored, I don't.
Yep. All right. Well, Stephanie, we got more to talk about because I haven't reviewed the entire filing for Tina Peters yet. It feels like that both sides are. I mean, it at least give us some closure on what's happening with the appeals court. Now it can go to the Colorado Supreme Court, correct?
It could. There's actually a mechanism to go to the United States Supreme Court, and this is a important issue related to the pardon that was issued to Tina that the Supreme Court would probably want to weigh in on and consider if they think it's valid for charges arising from the state of Colorado.
But Stephanie, can the marshals now come in, take Tina out of the jail, and be like, we're done?
Well, I don't want to talk about what the government could or could not do. She's a federal witness. That I'll say. Absolutely, all day long. She has evidence pertaining to things that the government has under investigation that the government's already said that it's investigating. So what they can and should do, I'll leave that to the government to resolve with the government of Colorado. But it just has to go step by step at this point and as fast as possible. A motion at a minimum to get Tina out right away, now that it's getting remanded down to the trial court, needs to be filed because she's entitled to new sentencing, and she can have bond pending appeal and show up for sentencing just like she did before. So that needs to be filed.
Okay, so we got lots of stuff to work on with there. We talked about yesterday the Dominion magistrate, special master, D.C. court stopping information related to crimes committed and saying that you have to return and destroy that. I didn't clear that with you before. Do you want to make any comment on that, what we talked about yesterday?
I think I should come back on and talk about that, but I don't know. Have you told your audience anything about that order?
I did yesterday. I went through it yesterday. I read it on the show yesterday.
Sure. Well, I'd like to come on when I have my answer prepared to that. But I'll just say uh, you cannot order anyone to destroy evidence of a crime or manipulate it or move it or interfere with a witness. That's the law. You can't do it. So let me prepare that answer and I'll file it and then we'll come on and I'll talk about it line by line. But
Okay.
Even a federal judge cannot order someone to commit a crime and destroy evidence,
All right.
right?
I agree with you, but they did it to Virginia Giuffre in the Epstein deal. That happened, saying that she came about it the wrong way. And again, we see more crimes committed by people inside the government, and they are going to let it happen. Or pseudo government, whatever you want to call it, Dominion employees, Eric Coomer specifically in this case. When are we going to? We just got to get to the bottom of the justice part, Stephanie. This kabuki theater that we go through every day, they say it's difficult. It's not difficult. It's only difficult. It's only not difficult when they want to basically throw the book at you like they did Tina Peters.
I think, Joe, things are moving. They're moving slow, but they're moving, and we've talked about that in the past. But it's just really, really, really frustrating. This court order that doesn't deal with the important points that were raised by Tina, not the supremacy clause. I mean, it just kind of dismisses everything quickly and doesn't thoroughly analyze it. I'm really disappointed. I was hoping that they were taking their time to write a really thorough opinion and order, and that's just not it. Apparently, it doesn't matter if somebody says that they thought that the defendant was targeting them throughout the entire trial and didn't say anything to anyone. Apparently, that's precedent that the Colorado Court of Appeals is okay with. So any juror can be biased against someone during a trial. They never have to disclose it, and then that person can go sit in prison. That's ridiculous. So I'd like to see you have some defendants' rights groups on your show, liberal people and liberal attorneys talking about how that's not how that works. And in any other trial, you'd get a new trial.
No, I agree with you fully. And given that opportunity, it would be better. But I feel like that these bad people are sticking together. Stephanie, I hope to have you back on again so we can walk through all of these different cases, including what they're trying to do on the Coomer case, which is they're trying to keep Peter Tickton from representing me in the Coomer case. Why is it that they go for sanctions on everything and create problems there? They lie with impunity. We're just supposed to put up with it. They got a protection order against me. And they took all the things that I've said, including me doing this, and I'm going to do it again, that I carry a gun everywhere I go. There's a gun right there for protection. And that somewhere along the line, me doing that is threatening to these snowflakes.
Well, you lawfully carry a gun, and that's the point. That's what your business does. You have a procedure in place where you educate people on how to follow the law. That's what you do. You follow the law. And so you asked a question on why are they attacking the lawyers? It's because they need to, okay? Things have changed over the past 4 years as to who's in charge and the former Biden corrupt agenda that was taking place. There's a funny saying, that they teach lawyers when they're young lawyers. When you've got the facts on your side, pound the facts at trial. When you've got the law on your side, pound the law at trial. And when you've got nothing, pound the table. That's what they're doing.
They pound the table.
They're pounding the table. They
and
at
slandering.
This point, that's the only thing they can do. They don't want to actually go to court on the merits, right? They want to distract and attack the lawyers. That's their only move at this point.
This is crazy. Well, I mean, and they've done it to me. $160,000 in sanctions I've paid. And the special master in the case in Denver is some radical leftist piece of trash that works for the JAG that now is just throwing willy-nilly stuff out there. It's completely against the law, but throwing it out there, and the judge is like, "Yep, that sounds good." Some gay judge that walks around putting like rainbow Care Bear stickers all over his door. It's crazy. Stephanie is crazy. The whole thing's crazy.
You have not told me the Care Bear sticker story, but I'll have to do that another time. But I hope we return to what we've always known, where we can respect the institutions. The crazy rulings and the things that have happened in this country that are just it's so sad, isn't it?
It is.
We just need to go back to functioning where there's no weaponization. It's not about politics. It's just what is the rule of law? Let's follow it, and let's have accountability where it's due, and that's it.
Right. I agree with you fully. Fully. All right. Well, Stephanie, thanks. Always good to hear from you. Always good to talk to you 3 times in a day. It's a lot. Thanks for all the work you do for me.
Anytime, Joe. Anytime.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you for having me on, and I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
All right. God bless you. All right. So I don't know if Kyle's on yet or not. Let me see what he says.
I'm sitting here solo with God bless you. 2 sick kids, one who's asleep on me, one who's asleep upstairs, 2 that are hanging out, waiting on mom. And when she gets home, I'll step on.
Yeah, so he's going to get on as soon as he can. So Kyle will get on as soon as he can. He is dealing with children. He's a dad first. He's coming on here second. But let's go through some stuff. He's pretty well up to verse on the things we're going to talk about. He will get on. We had a misunderstanding on what time zone we're in. Everything should be sent out in Eastern time zones. I agree with him on that. We did that before, and it caused problems. But with Kyle, we're always going to send it to him in Eastern time zone, just for that reason. So, man, we got some stuff to talk about now. We have some stuff to talk about. We talk about Tina. I think Tina's going to get out. But what the games that they're playing now and what Polis is going to do, I'm just going to say this. Jared Polis, you're an illegitimate governor. I don't care if you like me or dislike me. You literally watched as 2 Democrats were given mild, if not no Senate, and they committed fraud, knowingly committed fraud, knowingly committed the crimes that they say that Tina did. Tina was just trying to look out for the people of Mesa County and the people of Colorado and the people across this country. You literally are letting a 70-year-old Gold Star mom sit in prison while you watch your friends get let out on probation for committing crimes they knowingly did. Knowingly did. And you watched them put her in there for 9 years, and you let this happen. You're a disgusting, despicable person. You're not just a terrible person. You're past terrible. You are an evil trash heap. And the fact that you could do this, every person in Colorado, this is your legacy. Your legacy is you're a pathetic, fat man who, frankly, has done nothing but destroy everything that is good about our state. Everything. We're the most dangerous, we're near the most dangerous state in the entire country. We're near the worst education system. I think we're like 41st in education. Less than 25% of our kids in the state of Colorado graduate proficient in anything. Our homeless problem is out of control. Our budgets are not balanced at all. I haven't even started talking about the education system and what you've done with DEI and punishing children who are straight and white. You're a pathetic person. You're a pathetic piece of shit that will go down in history as one of the most terrible human beings this side of the planet. And you let a 70-year-old Gold Star mom who lost her son, who stood up and has not had as so much as a parking ticket, and you sit there and say, I'm going to wait till I hear what the appeals court said. And President Trump, I don't give a shit what you have to do to get Tina Peters out of jail, right? I don't care. Do the right thing and rip Tina Peters out of jail. We can go over to other countries and kill the leaders and yank ones out, but we can't take care of a mother who literally stood up for you. And I'm not just talking about myself or the other people that have stood up for you, have been sued and slandered and attacked and literally threatened, to have our lives threatened, our children's lives threatened. You're not the only one, Mr. President. There's a lot of people. And Tina Peters is sitting in jail. And it's not enough to say that she's a hero. It's not enough to say that she's a patriot. That's not enough. Enough is you go in there and you take Tina Peters out of that jail and you rip it from this unjust system. She's a political prisoner, and you're allowing someone in the United States to be abused when they stood up 100% for you. I'm out. I'm out. I will stand with anyone who will loyally stand with the very people who have taken every punch you have taken. Do something. Don't poke it and write tweets up there that say, hey, free Tina Peters. You're the president of the strongest country in the world. And you don't need to run over to Israel to find out if this is possible. You can do it yourself. I don't give a shit if you like what I'm saying. This is the difference. I should be able to say something that is to hold you accountable, hold people in this country accountable, hold Pam Bondi accountable. I don't want to say something nice about Pam Bondi. I certainly can't say anything nice about Todd Blanche. Because all I ever hear is it's complicated. It's not complicated. And what we're about to talk about is even less complicated. Let's talk about this for a minute. Free Tina Peters. For once in everybody's fucking life, let's make it more about someone else than making it about the power struggles of the people in power that, oh, heaven forbid you were persecuted. How about the American people who stood up that don't have Secret Service details? That don't have the ability to walk out and say, I'm going to go start a super PAC. And one in particular, her name is Tina Peters, who is sitting in jail. And guess what? I pay her a salary every single month. And I have for years. For years. And I've done so without anything. And I work the problem, and I go to work every day, and I stand out there, and I take punches from radical shitbags on both sides of the aisle. It's not that complicated. The American people are tired of having everything stolen from them, treated like slaves, and relegated to the sidelines to sit down, shut up. We have the gold standard. You don't have a gold standard, and you have an executive order that you put out there. How about another executive order, free Tina Peters? And then you send in the marshals, you pull Tina Peters out of there, and you basically tell them, try me. And then you get to the bottom of the Christopher Gregory case, which includes bribes paid and things that were overstated and covered up by Griswold and Weiser and Polis, and you put an entire team on getting to the bottom of what they did in this state to cover up crimes that were committed by them and people on the Colorado Supreme Court. You arrest them. You go straight for the throat of the state of Colorado, and you make sure that these judges that have committed crimes against people pay for it. You want to declare war? You want to win? Take a state like Colorado and free the people. Because right now, the people of Colorado are slaves, held hostage behind lines where people can act with impunity and do whatever they want. But no, let's send out tweets to say free Tina Peters. No. Let's get to the action part. Faith without works is dead. And in this holy week, we have done nothing but dishonor the very people who have spent years fighting for people that obviously would step over them and piss on them just as soon look at them. It's disgraceful. And that brings me to, obviously Kyle's going to get on. He is on? Yeah, just get him on, please. Kind of past it, bro. How you doing?
I'm good.
I miss your face. It's good to see you. Outside of seeing your podcast, it's really good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. You're on one. I feel you. It's a rough week, man. This is a rough week. It's been a wild week. I've got nothing but sick kids. I've been fighting sickness. My parents are sick. We just visited them last week. So just watching all that, it's like, Holy Week has been a rough week for years in this house, and this March-April season has been rough. I don't know if you know this, but like the day after Easter in 22 is when they took my badge, so that's when my suspension started.
I know that.
Yeah, and so a lot of this,
literally
like
have
this,
it in my calendar
this season,
to make sure that's the day that I'm like there. I literally have a plane ticket to fly in. I was going to come surprise you, but then you said your kids are sick, so I'm like, maybe I won't surprise you.
Yeah, no, you don't do that. I mean, obviously it's on the lunar calendar. April 23rd was the time in 22. It's earlier Easter this year, but it's rough, man.
No, I thought it was the 21st. Hold on a second.
Could be the 23rd. It was the 23rd. It doesn't make that much difference, but I think that's what it was. Seems right. Are you looking at when was Easter in 22?
We talked about this on a show, and I put in there that it was the day they took your badge.
Yeah, I guess it was the 18th was the day they took it, and the 23rd was when they called me back in. That must have been the Friday when they gave me the paperwork.
Took it the 18th. Huh. Yeah, because I have a flight in on the 17th. I was literally going to surprise you and come down.
Don't do it. I mean, you can come surprise me, but you don't need to surprise me.
I was literally flying in, and
well, they better be well by then, man. If we're still sick in 2 weeks, they'll be terrible. It's been kind of a long couple weeks, but I'm just watching the madness happen right now. I'm so tired of people saying that something's going to happen and it doesn't. Rule by tweets thing. It's horrible.
How many times that I've had people that are as close to the pin as possible that call me and say, "Hey, Joe's ever," and then I get a phone call last week and they're like, "Joe, you have no idea what chaos is. It's absolute pandemonium. And there are people that literally are sabotaging things on a daily basis, that they are literally walking in and throwing hammers down and lighting fires and doing everything they can to distract President Trump." And just before he actually—
I know you like Trump a lot. I don't care one way or another. I care about outcomes. And what I see is an old man who's tired. He's never been more tired. He's never been more old. It's starting to catch on him. That was the dumbest speech I've heard. I listened to that last night. I was like, who's the audience for this crap? He bragged on things. There was a drinking game someone just sent me, and every time he said that, like, no one's ever seen before, the guy drank and the guy was hammered, but in 9 minutes, because it's a 9-minute long speech where he said it 20 times. That's like alcohol poisoning for a grown up. It's tough. It's tough listening to him. Like, he does the old shtick, and he's bored with his own shtick. He's like, those are B-2 beautiful bombers, the most beautiful bombers. It's like, what are you doing, man? Like, go do the things you said. You have a domestic agenda. There were 20 promises. You made them to the American people. We all believed you. You don't need to get all of 20 of them done. You got to make progress on some of them. The top 10 should be a no-brainer. Make America affordable again. You don't go bomb oil countries. You don't go pick a fight with somebody that can't. They said it yesterday. They didn't have the range to be able to hit anywhere in America. So what the hell are we doing going after ballistic missiles? Why are we engaged in a fight that's not ours? I mean, it's just all that stuff is gross, man. So anyway, the Tina Peters thing, everybody's got their own fight. That one's pretty nasty. As you said, he's tweeting about it.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
Is that what serious people like? No. If I told you,
you just take it.
If you called me up and you were like, "Hey man, I got a real serious problem," I go, "What is it?" It's like, "I can't get to Denver and my wife's sick and I need to get up to Colorado. I'm in San Antonio. Can you help me?" And I go, "Yeah, let me put out a tweet real quick." You tell me to go pound sand because that's a stupid thing to do. That has nothing. I'd be like, "Oh, well, I got the ability to either buy you a plane ticket or I'm going to come drive you myself if we got to get it done. Like, we'll make it happen, right? We can hire a car. I can do it myself, or I can pay for a flight. We'll solve that problem as needed. I'm not going to write to the internet about it. It's just such a bullshit way of governance. It's such an unserious organization. We look in and we've got unserious people doing the most serious things in the entire world. They fired Pam Bondi today. I got notice of that happening hour or two before it happened. I had some other people reach out and tell me
last week.
Yeah, well, people are telling me Kash Patel's next up, and it could be today, and it could be next week, and there's like some conflicting things. But there are people that are in positions that know stuff, and whether it happens or not, like I don't even care. We have unserious. We just lost the Homeland Security Secretary because she took a $250 million to do dress up and to share advertisements in an image campaign so that she could run for president, which is what everyone's been telling me from DHS for like the last 18 months. And then right after that, we exposed that her husband was wearing fake silicone boobs and paying chicks to watch him, beat it. And then we find out that the FBI director has a porn account that got hacked by the Iranians in 24, and they just now decided to embarrass him. So we have FBI Director Spider Cash on X videos logging in while he's flying in the private jet. It's like, Can we just have some grown-up adults in a Republican administration? Would it be so hard to hire people that don't cheat on their wives, that are actually married and they meant it, and are in adult ages doing adult things in adult ways without all this like villainy? And the answer is like no. So anyway, I it's hard to watch it, and then you watch some of the really evil shit. Like you watch what's been going on to my friend Steve Baker. You know, people think all these people are the good people because they tell them what they want to hear. Where's Glenn Beck? Glenn Beck said that the story that my friend Steve Baker introduced, this goes back to October of last year, was the most damning scandal in the history of this country, certainly in the last 100 years. Those are Glenn Beck's words. You can go find them on an AI search. Very easy to find. Brought on my buddy, told him that he evaluated the story, and then he started getting phone calls. And the people from the administration called him up. And he abandoned his principles immediately because they're all gutless. They have absolutely no sense of honor. They have no sense of principle. They all want to be close to power because there's a ton of money in telling people what they want to hear and not telling them the truth. And so what do? They fired Steve Baker. They fired Steve Baker yesterday for doing the right thing. They're going to settle with a woman who failed a polygraph that the FBI saw.
And they're going to send a mentally disabled guy. You know, he's the high functioning autistic guy, but he's not right. And here's the crazy thing. People in his neighborhood, federal agents that live next door or within the, you know, a few feet of this guy's front door know that he doesn't have the mental wherewithal to accomplish the task that they claim he did. And it took 2 hours to break him in an interview room. Meanwhile, a woman who actually showed deception was indicated as being deceptive by an FBI polygrapher who does it for a living. That lady was immediately ignored within 6 days because they needed a better, more convenient patsy. And by the way, my analysis, I do analysis the same way the Intel people do, high, medium, and low confidence. I assess with very high confidence Dan Bongino didn't even know that Shawnee Kirkhoff was polygraphed and failed it before he started going out there making claims that he was going to pay for her defamation lawsuit. He told people like Tom Massey that he was going to clear her. Hold on a second.
You know this?
He said that, but then he went after Tom Massey. He went this whole video about Tom Massey and the fact that he should be thrown out and pro APAC. This is just today.
Put on. They spent like almost like coming up on $10 million to unseat Tom Massey in a primary where the Republicans are going to lose the House in November. And rather than save their war chest to actually spend it on things that matter, like maybe keeping a seat that's in danger or flipping a seat, they're trying to get rid of a guy who votes with Donald Trump's agenda 91% of the time, except when he's like, you know, hiding the Epstein files or other weird shit. So, you know, your fire. I'm beat up today. I've done too many hours of this. I spent 2 hours explaining all the court filings and the intrigue this morning of how insane it is that our government is imprisoning a 30-year-old dude who doesn't have the mental capacity, doesn't have the physical wherewithal, and as far as we could tell, wasn't even in the same place as the pipe bomber on J6. After 5 years of searching, they came up with nothing. And then within minutes of Steve Baker and formerly of the Blaze kind of exposing it all, Joe Hanneman also needs a mention. He's the partner in crime there.
Yeah.
Those two guys did like the actual work of what you would do if you were doing gumshoe investigations. And they went, holy crap, we need to, set up this dude. And then their answer was a guy who bought things years before the election was so mad about the election that he went and placed fake pipe bombs, which I was briefed 1 week later, were not real. We're not operational. Looked very bomb-like, but in fact, we're inert. And the government is prosecuting a case based on the idea that these things had to be inert. It's freaking crazy, man. I mean, they'll make you lose. Here's the upside. It's Holy Week, so we know that the only perfect man that walked the earth died for it, for his troubles, right? So we're not necessarily supposed to win on this planet, and we don't need to.
Yeah, but
we have a pretty good.
The people that say that they are for us and with us, and they are the ultimate Judases.
They are. But here's the thing:
faith, right? I mean, it's
Jesus was crucified for his troubles. All of his apostles ended up meeting a similar fate. You had your first martyrs. Like,
yes,
way worse things happened to a lot better people than me. Way worse things have happened to places that were much more just and justifiable than what's happening to the United States. And whatever chaos we get, I think we'll still come out the other end of it more or less okay. But I think we're watching a lot of insanity because the people at the top are not holding onto the steering wheel. they're subcontracting it out to people who have already sold out. I mean, you can't tell me that you didn't know that there was all this sort of they love sexual compromise and sexual malfeasance. You can't tell me that the DHS secretary wasn't vetted and they didn't know that her husband was on online, bimboification forums. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that we don't know what kind of compromise like it causes a 60-something-year-old man like Lindsey Graham to go wander around Disney World with a freaking bubble wand. Like, you might find me with a bubble wand someday, Joe. It'll be because I'm chasing down one of my daughters who's either 2 or 7 or 8 who gave me their bubble wand, and I'm trying to give it back to them. That's when I'll have a bubble wand in my hand that's pink. I didn't go buy it for myself as a grown-ass man and then wander around in public to get photographed with it. It's enough to make you question all the things, and yet at the same time, it probably should just reassure people like this has always been the way it's been.
Yeah,
if you thought we were voting out of this, I would implore you to think otherwise. Like, there's no evidence that that's likely or possible.
But I think we're past the point where, I mean, this is where I'd start going, okay, we may not be able to vote ourselves out of it, but we certainly could slow things down and actually turn it around and take it into.
I don't think we can turn it around. We outsourced it to the guy that was.
The country's done.
Maybe in this format, I think that's probably true. But look, our country is not the country that was founded as the United States of America. Think about even the name of our country. I mean, this is something you and I go back to, but like the primary governing body of the United States was meant to be the states, not Washington, D.C., not some centralized federal government. The Federalists and the Anti-Federalists got together and they had to work it out. And the worry was that they were going to have some atrocious, tyrannical, replace a king with an equally tyrannical body. And so they said, well, we're going to leave most of the power with the states, which is what the 9th and the 10th Amendment were supposed to do. We were supposed to leave all powers not on. It was a leash on our government. And what have we done? We've run through the 9th and the 10th aggressively. We've implemented things that centralize power with the 16th Amendment by giving, we're in tax season right now. Yes, that's relatively new. That's 1913 on. So that wasn't the first 100 years of this country. We didn't have that thing. You couldn't do federal income taxes. Do you know they passed the 16th Amendment, by the way, Joe? It was based on greed. It was based on the oldest thing. It was like a Liz Warren thing. Like, aren't you mad the elites are not paying their share? How many of you that are paying federal taxes right now consider yourself to be an elite or a 1% earner? There's some of you that are, but it's not a big percentage because 1% is not everybody. The people that are wage slaves that are, paying off student loans and writing taxes on their tips and being able to write off $25,000, but they're still getting charged taxes on the other, $15,000 because they made $45,000 a year as a waiter. Those people, you're the ones who got conned, and you didn't even do it. It was done 115 years ago or so. It was done 100 plus years ago. Everybody that's responsible for wrecking this country is already dead. So the idea that it would finally crumble down and then sort of reemerge in some other form, like USA 3.0 or 4.0, I don't know what number we're on. They say the fourth turning. Well, I think we're going to get a turning. That's okay. It's going to just be chaotic for a little while. It feels crappy to be in it. Kind of sucks to have young children while you're in it. I had a 2-year-old sleeping on me 5 seconds ago. I probably still have drool on my shirt because my little turd she's febrile for the last week. She feels terrible. She just wants, dad for comfort. So I'm there for it. And she just goes, I don't want to watch a movie. I just want to listen. And then just blacked out on my shoulder. Okay, great. It's tough to have a little baby who's barely sentient going through a wild time in American history. And at the same time, it's like, well, that's it. Everybody has gone through, people have gone through the Black Death. People have gone through turmoil and upheaval and, they've gone through revolution and wars and centuries of it and so on. It's like, okay, fine. This is our time. So be it. Sucks, but this is the lot we drew.
And you don't choose it.
No, we didn't choose this. I mean, I think we chose the opposite. I mean, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. That was when I was a kid. And so my thought is that we had it pretty darn good.
It was
if somebody was like, hey, how do you want your kids to grow up? I'd be like this. I mean, dude, I have a tape player. I have a cassette tape player, and I have boxes and boxes of cassette tapes. My wife bought them off eBay. So my kids can have similar technology experiences that we had. They have no access to the internet. My 8-year-old has never done anything on the internet other than she's like watched some videos that my wife has queued up on YouTube for her homeschooling. Like, we're really aggressive about trying to make that. Like, my kids build forts and are making their own kites, and we're doing they're baiting hooks and fishing. Like, we're trying to do that. Yeah, that's all true.
Yeah. I think that what we said about going to Montana, we just got to make it happen.
Bro, I'm watching. Like, here's the other thing. The craziest thing is with Pam Bondi out and Todd Blanche being the top person, the folks that my team that has a lawsuit against the FBI is negotiating with, they're Todd Blanche's people. They answer like essentially directly to him. And for all the hatred that has come down on Tom Blanche, like he's never done anything to me. I know people. I talked to Alex Jones and he's mad about it. I know other people say that he shut down, Ed Martin, and it's, yeah, all these things, but he's never done it to me, and I don't know that he's the one who's driving it. I really don't, because I just don't know Todd Blanche. And when I listen to him speak, he sounds smart, he sounds reasonable. The people that are around him seem really decent, and as likely as not, he's not actually the villain. We often find out that the villains are not the people we think they are.
Well, I mean, I actually like Susie Wiles. Everybody
That's what people
thinks I'm
say.
Crazy, and they're like,
she might be great.
She's terrible, and I'm like, how is she terrible?
I have no idea. I've never met her.
That has lived in this world with President Trump in a dog-eat-dog world.
Mm-hmm.
She survived it. Chief of staff, has been able to kind of migrate or mingle. If it wasn't for her, President Trump wouldn't have had access to the information that showed how the elections were going to be stolen in 2024. She was ultimately the one that took it to President Trump and said, here's what's going to happen, and took it to Elon Musk and said, help. Right?
So consider how dangerous that is, that we have a woman who should be retired.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm a firm believer. I'm not an ageist type person, but I just think that like there's a time for being bold, and there's a time for enjoying the rest of your life and adding the wisdom that you have for the next generation. And I'm just really sick of people over the age of like, let's say 65 or 67 weighing in on any of this stuff. I don't like that Donald Trump is as old as he is. I really don't. I'm like, if somebody younger than
Susie Wiles,
she's a boomer. I don't know. She's in her mid 60s.
Is she really? Oh, I didn't know.
And she's overweight. And it's like I look at these people and I just like, this is my thing. Like, and this is a Kyle Seraphin thing and people don't like it, but it's like, look, I could be overweight. I've had a ton of stresses in the last couple of years. I actually got to the point where I was like, hey, I haven't worked out in a little while. I better do something or I'm going to start getting fat. So your choices are, do you just get fat or you get after it? And we've had a lot of, employment trauma and family trauma. And I've lived in 6 houses in the last, whatever it is, probably 5 years. We've just been all over the map and it's rough. And at the same time, if I can't take care of myself and make good decisions about what I eat and how I work out and how I take care of my body, how on earth am I going to be someone that could be an example to my children, let alone like lead a company or other people? So I understand that certain people have health problems. And at the same time, if you have that, I hope you take care of that business. And if you're over the age of 65 or whatever it is, like, just stop. If you told me, and my dad is one of my favorite people in the world, right? My dad's 76 years old. He is bright and principled and a role model to me. And if you told me my dad was going to be in charge of like, I don't know, the state of Texas or even my county, I'd be like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. It's not a good idea. He's too old. He needs to be looking after his grandchildren, my babies. And he needs to let someone your age or my age be there. Because what are you doing? And if this country would get out of its own way to let people who are young enough to be bold and old enough to be smart enough to know what's going on, it'd be nice if some of these people that held onto the reins of power until their freaking knuckles fall off, I could do with less Mitch McConnells and Chuck Grassley's and Dianne Feinstein's and Nancy Pelosi's, these freaking bony people that literally they aspire to die in office. That's my enemy of all the things out there. And Donald Trump is part of that, to be fair. He's 80 now, isn't he? He's freaking 80 years old.
I don't think he's 80 yet, is he?
I think he is. I think he just turned 80. And I think it was his birthday the other day. I think that's what I read, but I could be wrong. How old is Donald?
He's 79. He's 79.
When does he turn 80?
In June.
June. Yeah. He's freaking 80 years old, man. What are you talking about? He's 80 in a few days. He's too old. And he looks tired and he's over it. And like, I get the sense that his mortality is coming through from listening to him talk the other day. But does he realize he's looking at spending the rest of his life in prison? Because I don't think you can make enough deals with these demons to not eventually get them. They need blood. And the fact that they're not playing for keeps is making me sick. I thought that's what we voted for. If he didn't do it and his life was on the line and his kids and his kids' future, man, how could you make a deal with people that you know are going to turn around and stab you right in the back and the front at the same time? So I don't think it doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, that's kind of a negative way of looking at it, but it's really disappointing watching this stuff, this turmoil. It's crazy. It wears on me every single day. There's not like a lot of people who wake up and feel the weight of what's going on in DC, in Texas, America, but I do, because that's what I'm swimming in this crap.
Well, and I'm trying to understand the thoughts of what he said, that he doesn't want to fund daycare, he wants to fund wars. And I'm thinking to myself,
listen, he's actually right. Dude, that is actually the conservative position. I actually would agree with that if that's where he stopped. He just didn't. In theory, the scope of the federal government should be so narrow, right? It should be national defense, national borders. If we needed to project force and be commander, that all makes sense. So if we needed to, like, federal dollars should be funding the military, which shouldn't probably be as big as it is, but should be advanced, capable. What the hell is he talking about? Daycare should be funded by the states, and we should drop our taxes so they can raise their. That's where he loses me, because the states shouldn't be funding daycare either. I should, as a dad.
Right, but hold on a second, time out. You can't take 56 cents on every dollar away from a person and expect them to live on less than half. You can't do it.
No, they shouldn't be doing any of this.
To do it.
He campaigned on exactly the opposite. He campaigned on a few things. Promise number 3 under Agenda 47 was make America affordable again and reduce inflation. So that means you have to deflate. You have to deflate the value of the dollar. So it's not fake money, it's actually better money. You have to improve the value of your buying power. And that would mean that you cut down some of the stock numbers, which he doesn't seem to care about. Trump seems totally involved in a K-shaped economy where the people around him are rich and powerful, and they're going to keep getting that. Good on them. The average American suffers for it. The guy that I met at the gun shop that I was standing and talking to yesterday, I have a meeting like that 6 times a week. I meet a random individual person. They're a wage-earning human being. They have calluses on their hand. They work for a living, and they're struggling. And they're not political, and they don't give a shit about wars, and they're not trying to start a war, and they're not weak, and they're not cowards. They're just regular men that are looking like, am I going to be able to drive my old work truck, which I bought for $3,000 in a county auction, or am I going to have to ride my motorcycle to work in the rain because gas is $4.20 a gallon? That's the guy that I met yesterday. Seemed like a super nice dude. He wanted to tell me about every gun he had, Joe. He wanted to tell me all the guns he ever shot. It was like, hey, man, I got to go to dinner. But that's a regular person. He's not a political commentator, and he's not some sort of pundit, and he doesn't have an agenda. He's a dude who's just trying to figure out if he can drive his truck to work because it gets 9 miles to the gallon, or is he going to take his motorcycle, which gets 45. And it's raining and storming in Texas, and he's taking his motorcycle because gas is too expensive. Like, that's not the America we want to be in. That's not what Trump promised. He promised we were going to fund the country on tariffs. I heard him say it. And we were going to eliminate the IRS. How does that plan come into effect with a government this big? Instead, what they did is they passed the big, beautiful bill, and they have the highest spending in the history of any government in the history of this country. And we've added $2 trillion to the freaking national deficit that my children are going to face, and my children's children.
And you're not going to be able to get around it. You can't. There's nothing you can do. How do you stop it from happening?
Dude, it's going to have to crumble. We're going to have to, the system's going to have to collapse.
We're already there.
I know, it's going to collapse.
Our judiciary is completely rotten to the core.
Yep.
I gotta go through this because you put up this post. This is a post saying, I feel vindicated. Put it up. Vindication. The FBI covered up current CIA employees' failed polygraph failure to sue simple questions. Did you place those pipe bombs? Did you place those pipe bombs that evening? FBI Director Kardashian Patel and Dan Bongino have some explaining to do. Okay. You were served with something that she wanted to sue you, correct?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And not only that, but Kardashian Patel used the system, lawfare, in order to come after you for talking about what happened last week. And I want to get your thoughts on that. I'm probably not going to ask you there.
Oh, the General Flynn thing?
Yeah, it was so coordinated. You got Laura Loomer, you got whatever the country music sensation that's never had a country music hit ever.
That's it. You got it. 6,000 views per month on Spotify.
And comes out, by the way.
I beat that in a day, by the way. I beat that in a day with my podcast.
I beat that in a day with my podcast.
I know. On Spotify specifically, I'm saying I beat it.
Yes, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And we haven't even.
You can't. Let me just tell you, you can't make a living doing 6,000 streams or downloads on Spotify. You just can't. That's game over for you.
Yeah. No, you cannot. Absolutely.
You starve. Unless somebody else is funding you, or unless your world is already paid for, or unless you don't have to worry about money for some reason, which would be nice.
I mean, if you were, maybe had a.
I don't know what the answer is. Look, I don't need to know the answer. The funny thing is what I was sued for was something that I corrected the next day because I had her confused with somebody who she worked for who looks just like her. They're both pretty brunette women with the same facial structure. One of them turned out used to work for the Israeli government, and the other one worked for the person who worked for the Israeli government and was doing the same stuff and was covering the same material. Either way, they're both public figures because they both run to TV. They both run to podcasts. Alexis Wilkins the country music sensation. She's just relaunched her podcast. She's looking for TV hits left and right. How do you say that you're not a public figure when you're seeking attention on national media and you're weighing in on your computer programs that she allegedly created to be able to track like sophisticated botnets that are foreign influence campaigns, which I totally believe that she was able to figure out on her own because she's super smart about how to deal with computers. Meanwhile, she can barely string a coherent sentence together. She's articulate in not saying anything, but I haven't heard her say anything that's of value. And what is her formal training? Oh, nothing. She left school when she was 16 years old. She doesn't know how to do any of this stuff. And then suddenly it's General Flynn and Catholics and people who are doing coordinated hit smears. You know what's funny about her little story that she did?
Yeah.
I was not mentioned in it. Neither was Sam Parker. Neither was Elijah Schaffer. All the people that were sued were not brought up in it because I'm sure it would be devastating to their case for her to make the claim that some foreign intel service was actually pushing the story that we just happened to talk about. Which, by the way, it was everywhere with millions and millions of views. And my view that
I still think that she's a Mossad agent. I still
you can. I don't know one way or another, and I don't really
think,
care.
But I can think whatever I want.
That's your
I can
opinion.
say what I think. I'm allowed to have an opinion. And I think that you can't have a coordinated effort with Laura Loomer, who, I don't know, is it Larry Loomer or Laura Loomer?
Might actually be a Mossad agent. She certainly takes up for the case. Listen, she actually takes up for the case of Israel one way or another, and she seems very dedicated to it. Despite some funny history, despite being, she's not religious, she's not particularly moral, as far as I can tell. She's certainly not conservative. So you got all these people that are not conservative, don't live by conservative values. They're not faithful to an individual spouse, or they're not married at all, and they're just running around doing God knows what with their genitals. And whether they're wearing fake boobs and paying for someone to watch them touch themselves, or whether they're out there flying all over the country in a private jet and beating off on our tax dollar while they're streaming the internet service that we put into a private jet. Like, I don't know what these people are up to, but I know they're scumbags, and then I know it has nothing to do with me. I know none of those people would be my real friends, which is why we're not friends. But apparently we're the problem, Joe. I'm the problem. You're the problem.
Yeah,
Tina Peters has got to sit in prison.
She's got to sit in prison when he is the leader of the free world. And
yeah, look, if you're going to waive things, which they've done plenty of, if you're going to do executive orders and then challenge it and try to bring it to the Supreme Court and try to make precedent, how about you go drag somebody out? Like you said, bring the United States Marshal Service, show me a local sheriff, show me a local detention center that's going to resist a team of marshals coming in and taking somebody out. Here we have it. This is a marshal's detainer. We are now removing this person. She's being remanded to federal custody.
And
she's
just
now,
so you know, there's
she's
precedent.
out.
There's precedent.
Yeah, they've done this before.
Yeah, this isn't the first time.
They've done it for a lot of different reasons, to include things where they said the supremacy clause, it now trumps anything you're doing. This is the same reason why you can't arrest a federal agent for breaking a state law. You're going to, there's ways that they can make this happen. Now, would it be a fight in the courts? Yes. Do we think the courts are fair? No. So get her out.
It doesn't matter.
Like what?
She'd already be out at that point.
She's 71 years old.
She'd be out at that point.
That's the whole point. Yeah.
You'd walk in, you'd have her out, and then they could do whatever they want. They can go to any court, and President Trump
do whatever paperwork you want to do to figure it out. Knock yourself out.
And President Trump could be like, I don't really care what you say.
This is why there's a problem. Because either we have state supremacy where the state actually does have the ability to do things that are tighter than the Constitution, right? For example, think about this. You can do things that are tighter than the Constitution in your state of Colorado, can you not?
Yes.
They can limit the Second Amendment aggressively. Is that appropriate? Yeah. They shouldn't even have federal laws that limit guns, but they do it at the state level. They should be able to do it at the state level if that's what they're going to do.
But it says, hold on a second, time out. The Constitution very clearly says that what is not enumerated in the Constitution is left to the states, which means the Second Amendment should be off limits completely.
Well, off limits to the federal government. It says off limits to the federal government. Hear me out, okay? That all changed when they had the 14th Amendment, which they broadly interpreted in a lot of different ways that are completely ridiculous. That's when they started flipping things on their head, and they said the federal government's rules, anything that happens federally, is required to go statewide. Well, why is it pick and choose? Why is it that we have freedom of speech and we're willing to have a Justice Department that fights for free speech in certain areas, but not in others? It's willing to fight for gun rights only sometimes, but you're going to see it limited in others. There's all these like ridiculous double standards, and it's basically like what's most appropriate for the people that are willing. What fights are we willing to take on, and what fights are we not willing to take on? Which rights do we think are not important in this particular aspect? At the end of the day, you should be allowed to be an anti-Semite in this country. Doesn't mean that we want to be friends with you. Doesn't mean that I think what you're saying is nice. Doesn't mean I'm going to let my children listen to you. But you're allowed to be a hateful, bigoted a-hole. It's a protected right. that there should be no things. And if we're going to say that you cannot infringe on speech, then why on earth are we infringing on the other liberties? Why do we have a bunch of different exceptions to the Fourth Amendment? Do you realize that there's Fourth Amendment exceptions that are used every single day and they can actually be implemented? Like they can ignore the Fourth Amendment if they say you have an open field. Are you fucking kidding me? Just like seriously, if you own property and you don't have the right kind of fence that they determine is meant to keep them out, like a barbed wire fence, if you can see through it, then they can climb through it. If they can see, then they can walk on it. What the fuck are we doing here? Like, we don't even have property rights in the country in a meaningful way. And so either you can do that at a state level and you can't at the federal, or you can't do it at all because the federal government should actually be the supremacy. It should be law of the land. But we don't even have consistency on that. So we just look at all this stupid stuff. Donald Trump was right about birthright citizenship. He's correct. The context of it should matter. It was about freed slaves. It was about people that came here that, maybe against their will, people who were born that were not citizens, that were going to be citizens because they were in a place where they were allowed to be. And that could be the case for people that have lawful permanent residence in the United States, right. LPRs, the green card holders. Those all make perfect sense. Why does an illegal alien get to come out, squat, drop a baby, and suddenly we have to pay for that person? Why do they get benefits? Why are we paying for their daycare? It's just nuts. Like, our system is so rickety and it's so unstable because the logic that holds it together is illogical at every level. The top that we live on, which is like balancing on, it's like a freaking a Dr. Seuss book, Did those make you uncomfortable when you were a kid? You'd see the Dr. Seuss tower and it would all be like hinged on a pin, and they build up this crazy shit and you're like, oh, that offends me visually to know how top heavy the system is. 2026 America is built on a foundation that is this narrow and it is 50 feet wide. And one shift to the left or the right would make it fall over. And for whatever reason, the wind is not knocking us over yet. But damn it, it's so close.
It's getting close.
It's not going to take much. It really won't. And I don't know what it'll be. It could have been January 6th. It could have been COVID. What we find is that people are actually really, really scared because the one thing that people don't want to do is upset this rickety scaffolding because the chaos is unknown. That's scary to regular men. It's scary to men who have little kids. We're basically lulled into complacency, so we don't have a 1776. We don't have some sort of like, hey, F this shit o'clock. Can I even say that? Fuck this shit o'clock, I guess that's what I should say.
You just said, yeah.
I know, I swore, I might as well swear twice. It's that time. It's been that time. It's been that time probably since 2008. I remember one of my cousins was talking to me. He's my money guy, and he tells me what's going on in the markets, where gold is moving, where stock, and he goes, it's pretty clear, man, that we had an opportunity to reset the deck and get a full reset in 2008, and the government fucked us all.
Totally.
And it bailed out people that should not have been bailed out. It took the opportunities from your generation, from my generation, we're a couple of years apart, right? We should have been able to look in and for pennies on the dollar bought up the massive infrastructures of banks and car manufacturers and real tangible mechanical things in this country. And instead they bailed those people out and they took our money to do it, and they saddled our children's children with the debt. That crazy shit is going to take another 20 years to get another opportunity like that. Or we'll have a black swan event. And that could happen because we decided
a black swan event.
I mean, I think so too, because we had a guy that said he was going to come in, he was going to be the president of peace, he was going to run on an entirely domestic agenda, and 18 out of the 20 promises he made to the American people during his candidacy was all about solving things domestically. And then he decided to kick off a war in Iran and kidnap the president of Venezuela. Like, the shit are we doing? We got Lindsey Graham and Mark Levin are now the right guys, and we're the bad guys for saying, like, hey, I just believed what you said the last time you said it. I actually believed on the thing that you were running on, not this crazy shit you're doing today, and you're the bad guy.
Yeah, so
and Tina Peters.
And it's not. I want to pivot from Tina Peters because I think
I'm just saying you can just touch base on anything that is important to you because it'll just remind you every time. There's a guy named Brian Cole Jr. Yeah, Brian Cole Jr. is still in prison. He's an autistic black guy without the ability to plan the event that they did. The person that was the most likely candidate failed a polygraph about that, and they went after Brian Cole Jr. 6 days later because they already had an outcome in mind. It had nothing to do with what was actually the truth of the facts. And it looks like the members of Congress, the United States Capitol Police, and the ATF, probably in coordination with the CIA, staged a coup that basically overthrew American freedom for 4 years, where you could not be an advocate against the incoming administration, which, as far as you tell me, and I believe, was probably a stolen election. I know I just haven't evaluated the facts. It's not my thing, but I believe you. I think it's true. Okay. So you're not allowed to question that because there were pipe bombs that we created.
Yeah. You know, the elections were stolen.
I just haven't I haven't done the math myself, is my point. So look, I will listen to people that I think, like, I will outsource my authority or my opinions to people that I trust on things when I can trust them. And I don't think they did it logically or fairly. I think all the elections are stolen at every level. That's my belief. Yeah. I just don't have the math to back it up, but it's my belief.
But if you sat down with me and it's like, Joe,
I'm sure of it. Joe, I'm just telling you,
okay,
like, my eyes just glaze over on it, and I just go like, I believe you. And you don't have any reason to lie to me. And like, there's like, what do you have to gain for saying something that's not true that doesn't affect, like, neither of us can stop.
Yeah,
it's like,
I think, but both of us are built like the same way, same cloth.
It's just like, I have a limited attention span. I focus on the things I can. I trust certain people in small instances where I go, yeah, this is the person that I listen to on that thing based on previous vetting, previous experience. Everything you're saying also aligns with all the other things that I know, which is that the FBI didn't investigate election fraud, that they were only interested in one kind of thing, voter suppression, not, voter duplication, people making up things, computer theft, all that stuff. I know they didn't investigate it. And if we weren't going to do it as the FBI, who the hell was going to do it? The answer was nobody, which is what happened. So anyway, I can look at those things and say, no matter what base you touch, whatever your bugaboo is over the last 10 years, you can look at Anthony Fauci's still running around.
And he hasn't been arrested.
Right. Then and what was the whole thing? They said the COVID trial and all the tests that they did where they found out who was going to be loyal and who was going to be a dissident problem. They were never going to try the same thing again. You've never seen the hijackers try to take down a building again. That's not what you do. You find something that's successful and you find the next weakness. You need a 0-day exploit. You don't go find like a previously used exploit that's already been covered over. That's already got defended. You got to find a new one. What's your novel path? It'll probably be something about fuel prices. It'll probably be something about energy. Americans are so reliant on there. What happens when you move fuel past $5 a gallon? We almost found out for the short period of time that it was like that under Joe Biden, the national average was over $5 a gallon for only a few days. There were a lot of people that paid more than that for a long time, but the national average was only up for a couple of days, which means people in my area, people in New Mexico, people that were in, Alabama and Florida and Mississippi, like they didn't hit it for that long. But imagine if they did, because that's how long it only has to last for 60, 90, 120 days. And then the downstream costs would have been crippling on everything. And they go forever. It's like you increase the cost on fuel and diesel. You've now increased the cost of food for the next growing season. You increase the cost of food for the next hatching season for eggs, for your livestock season, for beef and for pork and for whatever else, like your chicken. Like, it is crazy how much fuel prices will bump up everything in your life. Because everything is delivered to you.
Everything. Well, I mean, energy prices. I mean, that's the number one thing that helps with inflation or stagflation, right? It's the one thing that we can control everything else through that.
That's what's like that. Like, that's what the speculators were saying. Like, the next time that they hit you for something for compliance, it'll be that. And we've done it in this country in the 70s. It was before my lifetime, but people had alternating days when they were allowed to fuel their vehicle. We've done crises where we've tightened down because we didn't have the ability to either buy or the ability to fill pumps. People saw what that was like. We just were in an un-internet connected time. Imagine with the sophistication of what we can do for information and the amount of panic you could put on people and the reliance we have. I mean, I think that people in my lifetime relied on the bus regularly. Like, it was normal for a one-car household when I was growing up. Dude, I was a one-car household until freaking 6 years ago. we had one car because that was the right answer. We didn't need another car.
Do you think that there's something they're doing that's trying to make us see how corrupt and broken it is so that we do something about it so that we can get to this mass purge event? You don't think that's...
No, I actually think what we're seeing, like, that would be sophisticated. I don't think these people are, I think people are too simple. I think the things that are going wrong right now, I think it's just human nature to unravel it. I think we're seeing a 2003 psyop on an American people in 2026 where we have the internet and archives. That's what I think we're seeing. I think we're seeing, like, did you ever see that thing where they said, like, the propaganda for the Gulf War, and it was young Britney Spears. It was the "Hit Me Baby One More Time" Britney Spears, and she was cute and she was fun and she was wearing like a schoolgirl outfit and she was not all crazy. And then they're trying the same shit in 2026 with 2026 Britney Spears, and she's like all coked out looking and she's like wearing her underwear and she's got knives in her hand and she's like got cuts on her legs and shit and she's spinning around on some tile floor in front of some crappy cell phone. Like, that's how ugly it's like people are like, oh, you can't sell that here. Not today. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like they're not trying to unveil it. Like, it's just so obvious that the people who are running this crap on us, they still believe in the narrative power of the mainstream media. They still believe that you can control a Brian Cole story by debunking it, which they did yesterday in the New York Times. They think the New York Times is going to move the opinion needle, and it does for some people. You can take it out to Fox News and ignore it, and so the people who watch Fox News will never hear about it. But the problem is we've decentralized it. Did you ever see the Firefly series? Are you that kind of a nerdy guy? Yeah, of course not. So there was a series called Firefly.
Yeah,
no, you're all right.
I don't like movies, man.
It's sci-fi.
I'd rather read a book and
sci-fi. It's good sci-fi. It's also a cult favorite, but they basically canceled the show. It was called Firefly. They made a movie called Serenity, and there's this really great moment in there. This dude, and he's just kind of like he's like an internet shit poster, okay? And he runs this like centralized thing, and he's got like a robot girlfriend, and he's a total nerdy dude that just cruises the internet and posts videos, and he's like a content stream aggregator. Like imagine him being like the oracle that runs all the things that come through YouTube. Like he's the censor guy.
Yeah.
And they bring him this message which needs to get out to people, and they give it to him, and he broadcasts it, and they kill him for it. And like one of the last things he says is, he's like, Malcolm, or Mal is the guy's name. He goes, you can't stop the signal because it hits all the repeaters.
Right.
Like the signal's already it's already broken containment.
Yeah.
I think that like the obvious fact is like the question is when does it hit critical mass? But way too many people know that we're being lied to about way too many things.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't tell me.
That's the point. Was
bro, you cannot tell me. You can't tell me that the president of the United States can't get somebody out of prison in a state prison. You can't tell me that. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't believe it. If I was president, I would just go do it. They would come after me for it. They would tell you that you're a piece of garbage, that you're a tyrant, that you're an authoritarian, that you're a dictator or whatever. Yeah, who gives a shit? They already said all those things. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this is what I'm about. I'm going to go do this.
They just pardoned a guy that spent 3.5 weeks or 3.5 months in jail for a 30-year sentence or something, some financier, some Jewish financier.
Yeah, fucking, excuse me, dirtbags that killed people in nursing homes, that stole like life savings from people, millions and millions of dollars, like unbelievable amounts of fraud and scumbaggery. They've all been pardoned.
Yeah.
There's a dude who had a $40 million judgment against people in nursing homes. I think his last name was Schwartz, but I could be wrong here. He was this guy. And what did he do? He paid a lobbyist firm like $1 million to get access. Yeah. Paid $1 million to some lobbyists to get close to Donald Trump, another $100,000, and got Laura Loomer on his case, and he's out. So rather than pay $40 million, would you rather pay $1 million to some scumbags to get you out of the obligation? Sure you would. It's a hell of a deal. It's not honest. It's not principled.
But that's my problem. You know, I got other people like, I'll just say it. You got the Tiger King. I've read all his stories now. Everyone came back and said, okay, I lied at trial. Even the people that said they told the truth. Mm-hmm. Nothing ever happened. You get 30 years, and you have other people that do the same thing to get 3 weeks.
That's right.
And this guy's, in jail, and I was like, how in the world do you not pardon that guy? How is the Tiger King not,
I mean, he's a creepy dude. Did I tell you that I probably met him in Oklahoma once?
He's a gay dude that, likes
he's a
tigers.
Freaking weirdo gay dude, but he likes tigers. That's a weird.
But he's harmless. He still is harmless, right?
Relatively harmless.
But he's harmless.
Here's the problem. If you can go to prison for not committing a crime, and you can get out of prison for committing a crime, then
we're no system.
That's where we are. Yeah, there's no justice.
Yeah, there's no
and
justice.
Look, they told us that right away when I was at the FBI Academy. They go, hey, this is the Department of Justice. Sometimes it's justice. Sometimes it's just us. I mean, it's almost always just us, man.
But that leads me down.
That's supposed to say that people of principle are going to stand up and do the right thing. And I found out that wasn't true, as did you. When people are given an opportunity to stand up, it might cost them something, God forbid. Like, how are you going to tell me that people in federal law enforcement are going to give their life to protect you when those fuckers won't even give up their paycheck to do what's right? Give me a freaking break. I lost faith in all of that stuff. And so it's like, okay, there are certain people that will do it. And if push comes to shove, I have friends who have gone on record and said truly dangerous things for their family and for their careers and for their livelihood and for their future. And they've gone on record because it was the right thing to do, because people were discrediting other things that we all knew were true. And there was a smear campaign. I know dudes that did that.
No question.
Yeah, I'll go to war with those guys. And I've already put my neck on the line for people like that. They're so few and far between. I can make that promise to every one of them. That's how small it is, Joe.
But here's my problem. You have Dan Bongino, you have Kash Patel, you have all these people that use these words like debunked and this and that. So
Doomer, Anakin. I love those.
I want to put this up because this is you talking about the FBI started surveillance on Brian Cole Jr. the day after Steve after Dan Bongino called Massey to claim he would fund a defamation lawsuit. This is
Do you know that the person who made that disclosure that's on the screen right now, the person who wrote that disclosure and disclosed that information did so because there was a concentrated operation by the senior management, FBI, Kash Patel, a couple of others there, Marshall Yates and so on, that were pushing falsehoods, smearing me, smearing Steve Baker. So this person put their ass on the line. I'll go to war for the person who wrote that. I know the attorney, so like I know who the attorney is. If this person wants to ever reach out and need something from me, I'm there, 100%, day or night.
And Dan Bongino, though, he did this in 7 days. This was 7 days after Shawnee Kirkhoff allegedly failed a polygraph given by the FBI.
That's right. Dan Bongino, I don't even think knew that she's failed the polygraph. If I had to guess, he's such a dipshit. He's been so, like, excuse my language, but he's so full of his own bullshit that he didn't even know what was going on. He believed he was in charge of the FBI. There's no chance. And he's proven it with stuff like this. Like Massey shared it online that there was a defamation lawsuit. What's up?
Why not come out? Why not come out and tell the truth? Why is
Dan?
So
he doesn't even know the truth. Dan doesn't even know the truth, man. Dan only knows what they briefed him on. That's the thing that's so funny. Guess who's been saying that for the last year and change?
But then you have Kardashian Patel, and then
Spider
you have
Cash.
this Hain reports. All right, put this up. This is
Joe Hanneman.
Yeah. So you have
Joe Hanneman's a stud.
Okay, so we retracted nothing, and nothing that Joe Hanneman reports and I have published has been debunked. Okay?
Correct. Nothing.
The mainstream outlets, FBI sources, and members of the former agents group, the FAGs, have all said, nuh-uh, but that isn't debunking. That's not doing the work themselves and showing different results. No one has yet done that. They are still only parroting the intel community's narrative, told through sources that haven't done the work, delivered the message they've been assigned to spread. You guys are going too slow. The muzzle has been discarded. There is no longer a paycheck imposed gag order. Joe and I are now free to tell all. Announcement coming soon.
That's Steve Baker. Steve Baker got fired by the Blaze because he did the right thing. And just between us and whoever's listening to your audience, it sounded like the Blaze was about to settle almost 8 figures with Shawnee Kirkhoff for a thing that she failed a polygraph on, and no one can explain why the hell that would have been. And apparently, the alibi that convinced the FBI that what's up.
Steve Baker was eventually fired.
He's no longer listing it in his bio, so I'm going to take that as what it is.
You got to be.
That's what the paycheck muzzle was that you just saw in that post.
Go back.
If Tyler Cardin and Gaston Mooney, who run the Blaze, have any balls, they should call Steve Baker. They should get down on their knees and they should offer him $1 million to come and be part of their team again, so they have some credibility. But they can also watch the Blaze fall apart. I think the Blaze is about to go up in flames. That's my prediction for you. I think it's done. I think it's toast. I think they did it to themselves because they're cowards. Cowards die 1,000 deaths.
Why did he do it so? Why is Steve Baker not come out and say they fired me?
Well, he had a major outlet that's
about it right
listen.
now.
I know. Everyone's kind of putting it together. He has a major outlet that he taped a 2-hour interview with, and if that major outlet doesn't air the special in like the next 24 hours, then we'll go blast them. But end of the day, he told his story for several hours, and as far as I can tell, the cowards and the pussies that are behind this smear campaign, they've been all on the phone, getting in people's ear. I got threatened by Claire Locke. Claire Locke took like $780 million from Fox News. They're a major hitter. They're like the 800-pound gorilla in the defamation game.
Fuck off, just so you know.
Well, they sent me a letter saying like, you need to do this and you need to give us an unequivocal apology. It's like, fine, go ahead, give me the exculpatory evidence that shows me that your client wasn't the person, because nothing that you've showed, nothing you claimed in your letter has been debunked, as Steve Baker just said. Apparently the video that excuses Shawnee Kirkhoff from her potential involvement in the pipe bomb. There's a dog on video and she's talking off camera as though you couldn't fake that, or as though you couldn't be on another audio device somewhere. What the hell are we talking about here? That's not enough for an FBI agent to drop an investigation. You're out of your damn minds. So what are we doing here? And if listen, Brian Cole Jr.'s defense attorneys have already indicated through their filings, they've said it explicitly, that they intend to do basically a Perry Mason. They're going to offer an alternate theory of the crime, saying that Shawnee Kirkhoff committed those crimes if they can get the information that substantiates that claim. they would like to be able to press that as a potential legal defense. That's what they claimed in their statements. I'm being very specific about my language. This is not my claim. This is not even the claim of the law firm. They said if they can substantiate it, this is a defense they would like to be able to pursue, which means they require all of that information. So they're asking for those subpoenas. That's what the bullshit that this back and forth that went across the last 24 hours. And what did DOJ say? Did you see the crazy thing they said?
No.
It's in my Twitter timeline. You guys can pull it up. They claim that Shawnee Kirchhoff's name should be sensitive because they're protected by the gag order, which was issued on December 11th of 2025 in paragraph 4, subsection C. Document 12 in the Brian Cole Jr. case filings. You guys will see a snapshot. It's a squared piece of text. I've highlighted it. The only reason that Shawnee Kirchhoff's name, per the government, would be protected and sensitive information is if she was an undercover operative involved in that investigation. And since they say that's obviously not the case, then she's not a sensitive thing. She's not a sensitive piece of information. But the government claimed to Brian Cole Jr.'s attorneys that paragraph 4, section C, which I could read to you. I probably have it sitting up on my screen here. If you guys want to read it, I'll read it to you verbatim. It's not hard. Let me go grab it. I had it set up for Alex Jones's people the other day.
This is unbelievable. I didn't even know
I'm telling you like that.
I mean, everything that we're talking about right now, and maybe it's because I've just been laser focused on just certain things.
Here you go. Gag order.
I know that he almost lost his life.
He's not the only one. Someone else lost their life too. Actually lost their life. Yeah, someone's already been killed over this.
What?
And that's supposed to come out too. There's more to it. Again, these are not my stories to share. But I know the name. I know who it is. I know they're dead. I know they claimed it was a suicide. It doesn't look like a suicide, and it's being investigated as a homicide by the PD in D.C. Here's the deal. Sensitive materials. Paragraph 4, the United States may produce. This is the gag order on the Brian Cole Jr. Defense attorneys. It's for both sides. The United States may produce materials containing personal identifying information as identified in Rule 49.1 of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure and other materials as set forth below to defense counsel pursuant to the defendant's discovery requests. Such materials may be designated as sensitive. Sensitive materials may be plainly marked or shall be plainly marked, so it has to be sensitive, by the United States prior disclosure. Sensitive materials may also include the following. So they will be marked sensitive, or you will know they're sensitive because they fit the following. A through J. A is telephone numbers, email addresses, driver's license, similar identifying information regarding government confidential sources. Here's part C. Are you ready? And this is what the government said was at play with Shawnee Kirchhoff. Identifying information, including true names and photographs regarding government sources who acted in an undercover capacity with respect to this investigation. That's the entirety of C. That's what they said was at play with Shawnee Kirchhoff. I don't know if they were trying to snow the judge and say that they were using a narrow definition and they miscategorized what that meant.
They just forgot they wanted to put a period.
Well, that's what they said. They told the defense counsel. They told the defense counsel that's identifying information, including true names. But the defense counsel, reiterated, hey, by the way, the rest of that qualification is photographs regarding government agents who acted in an undercover capacity.
They used AI.
They're a $2,000 an hour attorney system. So isn't that crazy to find out? I'm sorry, the federal government's not.
DOJ, yeah.
They might have. I mean, they're Jocelyn Ballantine. She's the one who's handling and looking at this case, and she's subbed it out to another guy named Charles Joan. Ballantine was the prosecutor who went after Michael Flynn and Enrique Tarrio. So tell me that this solution is done. Tell me we've de-weaponized government with Donald Trump. Tell me that. No, and again, touch the base of your choice. Tina Peters, election integrity. There's no SAVE Act. Brian Cole Jr. is in prison. I don't even think Shawnee Kirchhoff did it maliciously, by the way. Like the indications that we have from what the most plausible story, if she was involved in this, I say if, because I don't have 100% what she did or what, and probably told it was a training exercise. I mean, imagine this, Joe. I come to you and I'm like, hey man, I need you to do this thing for me. It's a big favor. No big deal. Like we've done it a million times. Can you go and you hand this thing off to somebody that's a friend of mine? And you're like, oh yeah, I know that friend. Like I asked you to give something to my friend Peter. You met Peter. So can you give this to Peter? And then you find out I probably should have asked a little bit more about this because now there's a reward out for Peter and there's a reward out for the thing that I gave him. And I'm pretty sure I gave him either some sort of dirty bomb or weapon system, or I gave him some drugs or whatever contraband it was. And then I call you up and I go, hey, Joe, thanks for your help. Really appreciate it. You're never going to speak of the fact that I asked you to do that again. And by the way, if you do speak of it again, you're never going to speak to anybody again, and neither is your family. And by the way, I'm not just Kyle Seraphin. I'm now some federal government agency. Fill in the blank, three letters you like.
You just said that they, because I've seen them threaten, I've seen the government threaten people's families. I've seen it.
I haven't, but I believe you. I believe you because we're living in a world where it's all upside down, and the government tried to say that you can't say this woman's name because it's her true name, and forgot the fact conveniently that it only matters if she was a government agent who was undercover. What the F are we talking about? Look, and here's the thing. It's just as likely that the federal government did a crappy job on making their argument and they can't actually argue that this is protected information. It's just as likely as that's true as she was an undercover and they accidentally let it slip. That's also possible. I don't even know if it's even probable. At the end of the day, we're dealing with evil people using basically the banality of evil. They're mildly intelligent and semi-retarded, doing things that they don't think are evil because none of them are the bad guy in that story. I promise you, none of the people that are involved in this think they're the bad guy. They think I'm the bad guy. They think you're the bad guy. They think Steve Baker's the bad guy. They think Brian Cole Jr.'s attorneys are the bad guy.
How can you say that we're the bad guys? How could you even say that in good faith?
Because you're not working with us, Joe. We're trying to accomplish the greater good as we understand it, because we're the good guys. And the other way they do it is they define themselves institutionally. You know how I do it? Because I watched people in the former agents group, the FAGs. I watched them do it too. They were like, I was in the FBI and I was a good person. Therefore, all of the FBI is full of good people. And if the FBI is doing something, they represent people like me who are good people. So if you're against the FBI, if you're against the thing that the FAGs say, then you're a problem. That's how it works. So I'm the enemy of people. Like, my former boss has come out and he calls me like all the like basement slug and a bunch of other shit. He's such a fat piece of shit. It's amazing that a fat loser who did nothing in his career is mad at me because I have a bigger social media presence, even though he's getting his federal pension. So he sits there and cries about Kyle Seraphin. Well, let's just see. When Kyle Seraphin worked for you, this is John Nance, my former boss, and he's on Twitter with like a minimal following. John Nance, my former boss, when he had an opportunity for me to work for him, which I was his subordinate, he gave me 3 awards, and he awarded me, and he named me as an excellent employee on the rating system. Excellent, whatever, standard, meets expectations, subpar, or like needs improvement, or whatever the hell they had. They had 5 levels. I was an excellent. I was the top. So when he had an opportunity to evaluate my work in a supervising role, I was excellent. Now that he's out and he's one of the fags,
He hates you.
he hates me because I'm pointing out that his former agency is dog shit, and he doesn't have anything in his career that he can hang his hat on. Like, this is the great work that I did. He's only got the reputation of the FBI. God forbid Kyle Seraphin throw turds on it, which, by the way, I'm throwing turds on a badge that's shiny, but it's made of turds.
Yeah, no. At the end of the day, look, we've got to get to a place where we just throw these people out. I look at the Black Robe Regiment. I look at the creating an environment where we have vigilante justice. I look at all the things that through history, and I'm not saying that we're doing this. If you look through history, these are the things. But these are the things where, I was talking to Dale Comstock before you came on. Before Stephanie came on, before you came on, and I said to him, it only takes good men to get a case of the fuckets, right?
We're this far. Yeah, I don't know who's going to be the first mover. I don't want to be the first mover if I can help it, but I'll tell you, I already know what my red lines are. I already set them up. So did you. So
red lines. My red lines we're getting close to them.
We're real close.
Yeah.
They're very personal. I'm not marching to war over some nebulous idea, unfortunately. And there's some nebulous ideas that are probably worth going to war over, to be fair. I'm not in the position to do that with a 2-year-old and a wife that's dependent on me.
Yeah.
And a 5-year-old who's trying to figure out what's going on and trying to build parachutes out of freaking plastic bags and stuff. Like, I'm doing dad stuff. But like, I will have to not do dad stuff and there's a lot of me's out there. I'm not into it. It doesn't sound cool to me. It sounds awful. It sounds like the worst possible outcome. And yet, like, I'm sitting here talking to you about it because the alternative is that. And I probably am running a fever right now. I'm just sitting here thinking, like, every time this year I get the shit beat out of me by just getting worn down by all the I don't know why the crazy things happen during Lent, but the crazy things have happened during Lent for the last 4 years in my life in this country.
And the bad part is we sit here and talk about it. We can see it, smell it, touch it. And you look over at other people that can't see it, and you're like, man, I don't know whether to feel sorry for them or be jealous of them for being so oblivious. Thinking to myself, I don't know if I'd want to be oblivious, but at the same time, I'd like to look at people and not think you're a bunch of retards. All of you retards.
Yeah, the key is to not be mad at these people.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm past it.
Occasionally we are, though. You are, and I am.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Occasionally we are.
Yeah. So just so you know, I do.
Oh my God! I'm here. You want to know? You want to know what I'm mad at? This is what gets me going. Pam Bondi was fired. You know what I see? One of my responses on social media. She's not fired, Kyle. She's just serving in a different unit under Donald Trump. She went from a cabinet appointed position. She's not doing that anymore. You're fucking retarded.
It's private practice. It says private practice.
She's done. It's the same thing as saying that you took the Secretary of Homeland Security and now she's in charge of the Shield of Americas, which is a job we just made up for her. If you're retarded enough to believe that somebody who got fired didn't get fired, it's like it's the old joke, of how to say it. It's like we're not picking up your option. We're going in another direction, right? Like there are all these we're expanding and your department is not, or whatever. Like call it whatever you like. You can say a nice version, downsizing, laid off. They're all the same. You're fucking fired, Bob. Clean out your locker at the club. Take all your shit. Like you don't work here anymore.
Premises without somebody
Yeah.
you around.
It's kind of like what they did with me. Like when they claimed that they didn't fire me, but they took my badge, they took my gun, they took my security clearance, they took all the things that would allow me to get back in the building. They took my car keys, they took my body armor, they took my guns and said, you can't come back in here anymore. By the way, you still work here. We still want you to be one of our team, but we're not going to pay you anymore. And by the way, you can't tell anyone you're on our team and you can't tell anyone you work here anymore. I don't know how much more you can fire somebody than fucking firing somebody. They fired Pam Bondi and I got people like this. No, she's not fired. She's just moved to another position. Like these people must have misshapen heads that are lacking the most important critical thinking parts of their brain. I don't know how their brain was drawn around that part. It's hard not to be a little bit frustrated with them when they come at you and they're like, you're a dick. You're being mean. Pam Bondi is a warrior. Is she? She's a childless, like 50-something-year-old woman. There's nothing conservative about her.
How much? How old?
She's in her 50s.
She's in her 60s.
Oh, I think she's 60. She just hit 60.
No. She's past 60.
No, she's not.
Well, bet. Hold on. Don't look it up yet. Don't look it
I
up
think
yet.
she's 61. I think you're right. I think she just hit 61.
No,
is she older than that? She's 60. She's just at 60. She just turned 60 in November. Take a breath. Take a breath, jerk.
I won. And I just actually confirmed it. I was flying in on the 17th, and I told my wife, I was like,
"What do you get? What do you get for winning? Nothing.
I get to come see you."
Okay, you can come see me.
I'll take the family to dinner.
That's a win for everybody.
Yeah.
We'll get some tacos.
Whatever. I don't care what it is. We'll go down to the river behind your house and go catch some crawdads.
Yeah. Just watch for government agents from the shoreline.
I'm concerned about the people dying though, and in the fact that the government's involved in it. I look at what happened with Charlie Kirk. I have some more information to tell you about that. I've stayed out of the fray. I just know it wasn't a 30-06, and I know it wasn't shot by that guy. He didn't shoot Charlie Kirk.
They haven't even gotten to the freaking preliminary hearing on this thing yet. Again, there's only so much I can dig into granular. I know every filing now that's gone on in one case, and I know my own cases, and I know the threats of other cases. Like at some point, it's like it's too much. Everybody is looking, and they're overwhelmed by it doesn't matter. Like that's why I say it doesn't matter. It's not people trying to teach us something. It's that the truth has basically reached escape velocity. There's no way you can contain it. If you want to find it, you can see it. And if you want to believe that Pam Bondi wasn't fired and she's now just serving in another role, then you can find that too. You can go and turn on the Fox News and let it lullaby you to sleep. You could be a dipshit. There's plenty of people that don't know what's going on and they're fine. And I'm again, yeah, I agree with you. I'd almost be jealous of them, except would you really want to be that ignorant and live in the world knowing that there was an alternative?
Yeah, I just, the part of me that wants to be ignorant is that doesn't want me to be ignorant is the fact that I want to be prepared for when they come for my kids and come for other people around me. The ignorant part is just being able to have that non-dulled conversation, knowing that every time I turn around, I don't walk outside my office or walk outside my house. I don't let people get close to me. I had somebody that walked up to wanted to shake my hand. I was like, I don't shake hands.
Yeah.
Right. But I have to do that. I mean, I literally have to do it. I have to look for micro expressions. I go through now and I run wheels. So I can, in a crowd of 50 people, I can pick out the person that's going to be aggressive. I do things now that I don't want to have to do. I don't. Yeah, but
that was all men for all time when the world was scarier. The world's been nice for a while. That's nice. It's not going to be nice soon. Yeah. I think. And that's not me wishing it. That's just me recognizing that you might as well figure out your skills. I got 4 Fs. You got 4 Fs?
4 Fs.
Faith, family, fitness, firearms. Those are the 4 Fs.
Yeah.
And you could add farming in there if you have the space for it.
I got to go.
That was the
get
five.
I got to get surgery. So there's the.
I know, you know. I know. Well, fitness.
know that.
Fitness also equals health, right? Fitness is a broader category that involves your general fitness to include your health. You got to get yourself well. Everyone's got to improve their position where they are. I had ladies go like, "How do I fix the 4 Fs where I'm at?" I'm like, "Where are you?" In New Jersey. Well, that's the first start. You need to find places that are not New Jersey. You need to be not New Jersey. That's the, just improve your position with whatever your capabilities are, wherever you are. If you're stuck in New Jersey, then try to, solidify your position with family, solidify your position with the faith community, solidify yourself with the community around you. These are all things that you can do wherever you're at. Anyway, there are ways that you can still improve your position. I just see a lot of people that are putting their head in the sand and saying, we outsourced the revolution, so it's going to be fine. And Daddy Trump, who's 1,000 years old and feeling really old today, yesterday he was pretty old. Last night he was pretty old. If that's where your hope is, you're making some interesting choices that I don't think are going to pan out well for you historically.
You're in trouble. Yeah. All right.
All right. Let me go.
You got to go. I got to go. Listen.
Yeah.
I'm there on the 17th. I'm hanging out with you and the family on the 18th. I made that commitment. I think we talked about it last time, but I thought it was this weekend. And I just looked down. It's only the 2nd.
No. Yeah. It's
because I know it's Easter. I kept thinking it was the 11th.
It's like it's been a wild. This whole week, like my whole family has been in bed in their pajamas. My daughter, who's 8, is sleeping for the last 4 hours, and she's basically like tries not to sleep ever if she can help it. She voluntarily went to bed. So, luckily you're not coming in soon, and they'll be okay by then, and we'll go do fun stuff, and that'll be great.
Yeah, and I got a cross from Jerusalem that I'm hoping to be able to hang up that is been blessed by the Pope, which is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great week, even with all these challenges.
Even with the challenges,
we still have to say that we're in one of the most blessed environments and times. I mean,
look, you and I are talking on the internet. We're talking through satellites or whatever the hell we're talking through,
right?
And we haven't been in the same place. We haven't been in the same place since Las Vegas in January, but we've seen each other a bunch. Like that's not bad.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. I want to be in a place like Montana. We buy out like a bunch of land, put a bunch of houses on it, build like a community, raise our own food.
Yeah.
Right? Go shoot shit.
We can't call it Zorro Ranch, but we could call it some other hero ranch.
Whatever.
Too soon?
Hey, we can call it Jesus Ranch. It's called Jesus Ranch.
Lone Ranger Ranch.
Lone Ranger. There you go.
Lone Ranger was the white version of Zorro.
I just want people to know that when they come on the property and you have these secret traps, you have these little buttons where it drops and they get stuck with these.
Yeah, punji sticks and stuff, and like toe poppers. Like, bro, I got a whole list of shit to buy. My perimeter security is going to be very unsettling for people.
Little napalm.
Somebody listen. This is kind of sad. Somebody made a like a meme, and it's a Claymore mine, and it just says "front towards faggot." I just don't feel like. But we'll have it say "front towards feds" or something, and he'll just. We need. We'll do some Tannerite versions.
So when I was younger, we used to have in school, you weren't allowed to say faggot. So, so I came up with a 3-letter word for FGT. So I decided I was going to bring it back. I haven't done it since college, but every time somebody says something that's stupid, I go, "Okay, FGT," right? They're like, "What is that?" And then somebody's like, "He's calling you a faggot," and I'm like, "That's not what I'm doing."
I just said FGT. Yep. If you
FGT.
Go listen to
Coffee.
Who does the really great? It's Louis C.K. does a really great on the word. He riffs on these words that you're not allowed to say that he loves, and it's really the best. I had a team sergeant when I was in the Air Force make us watch Louis C.K. and he said, "I'm going to call you guys faggots when you deserve it, but I want you to know what I mean. This is what I mean." And he made us watch this like 8-minute freaking stand-up skit. It's outstanding. It's so good. And he's right. And by the way, since I've shown my wife that, which was probably 15 years ago, she says it too. So,
all right. So
my children are going to end up with like the worst mouths, and I do actually feel a bit guilty about that.
I'm glad you said that though, because I say retard all the time. Mm-hmm. So this woman calls me and said, "Joe," and I'm like, "Hey, how are you?" She's like, "Joe, I'm really mad at you." And I'm like, "Why are you mad at me?" She goes, "I have a special needs son, and I'm really upset that you would use the word retard." Yeah. And I was like, "Well, do you call your son retarded?"
What's wrong with you?
She goes, "No." And I was like,
"Hey, yeah, so what does that have to do with me?"
So you don't call him retarded? And I'm like, "No." And I go, and I didn't call him retarded. She goes, "No." I was like, So if we're not going to call people who are special needs retarded, I'm taking the word and I'm going to use it for stupid people. And
Listen. Let me help you. I'm gonna give you a faster and a quicker and a more understandable version of what you just said, because I've done this with a lot of people. And I had a couple of people, Kyle, stop saying retard. It's like, number one, you don't control me. You don't pay me. Listen, when I use the word retard, it's short for retardation appropriation. These are people who are not actually retarded that have decided to act like retards and take on the behavior of retards. That's what I'm calling. If you're mentally unwell, if you're unable, if you have a special need of some kind, if you have some, like, you're doing retardation appropriation if you're pretending to be that.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of people who are certified retarded that are not actually special needs. They haven't been diagnosed. They don't have a genetic condition. They're not adding a chromosome. Okay. They're just people. They're pretending to be retarded, and I'm calling out their pretend. It's the same as a man dressed up like a woman. Like, I'm calling you a thing. I'm calling out what you are. You are acting ridiculous. You are appropriating something that is not yours. You are a man and woman face. If I call you retard, I'm saying that you are pretending to be retarded when you in fact are actually not allowed to have that. And I would never do that to a person who's mentally unwell or special needs, whether they have mental illness or whether they have like some sort of disability. I'm not gonna. And by the way, if you call people that, there's something wrong with you. There's regular dudes like you and me that will hit you in the face for saying that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you act like one of those people and you're not that, then you probably need to be told retarded so we don't have to hit you in the face.
I totally agree with you fully.
Retardation appropriation. Take it. It's all yours.
Retardation appropriation. Write that down. Retardation appropriation. I'm gonna tell everyone that now.
It's short for that.
Bro, it's good to see you. It's good to see you again.
You too.
It's good to hang out
Thanks,
with you.
Bud. Yeah, I gotta go shake this cough. You gotta shake that cough too.
Yeah, don't make any plans on the 18th because we're.
All right, I'll go tell the scheduler.
Yeah.
My scheduler is downstairs.
Or I can just bring a bunch of steaks and we can have steaks and good stuff and do whatever.
We'll figure it out. Are you going to drive the Cyber Beast thing?
Daggone right.
All right, cool. Well, my neighbors will know that I have some gay friends. That'll be good.
Okay, happy. I love you, bro. See you.
All right, love you too, bud.
All right.
See you soon.
Well, today was packed, but I guess the outcome is are you black pilled, red pilled, white pilled? What are you right at this point? And we find ourselves over and over and over again talking about the ridiculous they're trying to convince us doesn't exist. So our elections are stolen, and the people in power are semi-retarded, and they want to tell us that their hands are broken. But until they're not, so they can go in, bomb the shit out of a couple of countries and do so in the interest of democracy. And they can stand up behind things that are, on their face ridiculous. But when it comes time to doing the right thing, we always hesitate. And I think that's my biggest problem. So we'll get through it. But I got to go because in a half hour, I got to go have a meeting with the Central Committee and talk to them about why I should be the chair of the Republican Party of Colorado. And it's going to be an uphill battle. Restoring the state party is going to require a stakeholders meeting. It's going to require bringing people to the table that normally have not had a voice. And that includes all the county chairs and making sure that the GOP is laser focused on the people. How do we make our communities, how do we make our state, how do we make our schools, how do we make our children more apt to having opportunity, and how do we do it in such a way that we don't alienate the other people in the community? So it's a lot. But let me just tell you this: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. Pill.net, great place to be and hang out. You have obviously Rumble and YouTube and all those others, and then you have UntamedNation.com. I appreciate all the people that go there, and then obviously we're on X as well. You're the ambassadors of truth. You get to decide what we share, and so I leave it in your hands. And we're on Facebook. I forgot about that. Lots of different places. I'm going to pray us out, and then again, let me know if I can do anything for you. Otherwise, go to honorboundusa.com. Go pick up a sweatshirt or something. All right, Father God, this is Holy Week, and I feel a little irreverent, so I just ask that you forgive me for letting it come through. I want to find a way to just be spiritually ready for this week, ready for Sunday. I want to be ready for the challenges you put in front of us. And so, Father, we're grateful for the things that you've given us. We're grateful for the talents that you've bestowed upon us. And we're grateful for the protection that you've put upon us in so many different ways. I can feel the pain, and I can feel the heat. I can feel the things that are coming in behind us at a rapid pace, and I can also see what's in front of us. And some of it looks exciting and good, and much of it is pretty scary as we look at the chaos that's being created by people who are just evil and betraying the very people they say that they're protecting. So, Father, I just ask you to give us discernment and give us faith in, not faith, but give us the ability to have courage and to stand in that courage and to do the right thing, but to set aside our petty differences and to find a way to come together as a people to fight against this evil that we can not only just feel, but we can see, literally see. So we ask these things, Father, and we ask you to bless those people around us and to give us, just give us the ability to serve faithfully, Father. I say these things in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, I'll see you guys soon. Go follow Kyle, follow Stephanie, excuse me. And obviously you know where to find Dale Comstock. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless you.
Rise up untamed in the heart of the fire where the wild ones roam. Joel Ollerman's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real. No more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our